Chapter 27. The fighter's continuous attacks missed and he was enraged. With a roar, he attacked again. Tang Jing didn't dodge and instead crossed his hands, filling the air with layers upon layers of hand shadows. The fighter was dazzled. He couldn't see Tang Zhang's face clearly, but he didn't retreat. Instead, he punched out like an angry dragon. Pung! The fist hit a layer of hand shadows and then they disappeared. The fighter was overjoyed and said, "Insignificant skill, you dare to show off in front of me? Go die." On the platform, Huang Xiang's pupils shrunk as he thought, this young man's martial arts are not simple, it's perfect. Yes, this is a perfect set of martial arts and not a random mess. The opponent thinks too highly of himself and will definitely lose. Peng peng peng. A series of muffled sounds rang out, and the shadow of the hand completely disappeared. The fighter discovered that Tang Zhang had disappeared, and suddenly he felt a sense of danger. He turned around, but it was too late. A strong force came from behind him, and he lightly floated into the air, flying out of the arena. The entire audience was silent. No one expected this match to end like this. Wasn't Tang Zhang supposed to be the loser? How could he so easily eliminate his opponent? The fighter fell outside the ring. He was stunned. He didn't expect this result, but the match had already been decided and he had lost. Bang! A gong sounded and the referee raised Tang Zhang's hand and announced his victory. Lin Hu laughed loudly. His long laughter reverberated throughout the factory. Most of the audience were dejected and cursed. F***ck, how did this happen? I lost all my money. Boss Fan's face was ashen as he fiercely glared at the fighter. The fighter was dejected and didn't dare to look him in the eye. Lin Hu ran up the ring and gave Tang Jing a tight hug and said, "Little brother, thank you for letting me vent my anger." Tang Jing smiled lightly. This match wasn't difficult. His opponent was a second-grade refining body and Tang Zhang was a second-grade refining qi. However, Tang Zhang's qi was dense and the heaven-gathering hand's power was not ordinary. He could easily suppress his opponent. However, in order to gain more insight, he did not launch a storm of attacks. Instead, he allowed his opponent to display their moves first before he defeated his opponent. "Kid, quietly feel the battle just now. Although this person's strength isn't that great, this battle is still good for you," Tian Chanzi said. Tang Jing secretly nodded. He could already feel that his true qi was gradually calming down, but it was a lot more vigorous. Fighting was indeed a good way to increase his true qi. "Let's go, little brother. Let's go take a look at Boss Fan." "Humph," he shamelessly boasted that he would paralyze half of your body. "Let's see what he has to say now." The two of them walked in front of Big Head Fan. Big Head Fan wanted to run away, but it was already too late. Lin Hu jokingly said, "Big Head Fan, now you know who's shamelessly boasting, right?" Big Head Fan glared at Tang Zhang, his eyes blazing. From beginning to end, he couldn't see through Tang Zhang. Tang Zhang looked like an ordinary person, but now he didn't dare to treat Tang Zhang as an ordinary person. Could it be that he had reached the realm of returning to his original state? Impossible. Big Head Fan subconsciously shook his head. How could a young person reach such a mysterious realm? "Just who are you?" Tang Zhang coldly said, "There's no need to tell you." "Kid, do you know what happens to people who dare to speak to me like this?" Big Head Fan's eyes were cold. Lin Hu bravely stepped in front of Tang Zhang and said, "Big Head Fan, don't you dare touch a single hair on his head." "Humph, since you can't afford to lose, then don't come here to play." "Huh, two bosses, what's with the smell of gunpowder?" Everyone came here to have fun. A few 100,000 is nothing in the eyes of the two bosses. Why get angry and hurt each other? Huang Xiang walked over. "Young Master Huang, Big Head Fan can't afford to lose and still wants to bully others," Lin Hu indignantly said. Huang Xiang chuckled, "Big Head Fan, winning and losing is a common occurrence. There's no need to get angry." Big Head Fan's momentum weakened a bit as he said, "Young Master Huang, if you agree to a bet, you must accept your loss." How can I not afford to lose? I'm just very curious as to who this kid is. How come I've never heard of him before? Huang Xiang nodded and turned his head to look at Tang Jing, saying, Little brother, I'm also very curious about your identity. I don't know if you can tell me. I, Huang Xiang, love to make friends, especially young elites like little brother. I'm sorry, it's not convenient for me to tell you. Tang Jing fearlessly refused as he truly did not want to reveal his identity. Lin Hu glanced at him and hurriedly said, My little brother's face is thin. I hope young Master Huang can forgive him. Huang Xiang bitterly smiled and meaningfully looked at Tang Jing, saying, I saw that little brother's strength was not fully displayed in the battle just now. I don't know if you're interested in participating in other competitions. Yes. Tang Jing said without the slightest hesitation. He had tasted the sweetness of battle so naturally he would not give up. Good, tomorrow night I look forward to little brother's arrival. When the time comes I'll arrange a competition for you. Lin Hu swallowed the words of dissuasion that were on the tip of his tongue and said, Young Master Huang, then we'll take our leave first. Huang Xiang nodded and looked at Lin Hu and Tang Jing as they left. His expression was neither happy nor sad, making it impossible to see through what was true and what was false. Big Head Fan fiercely spat out a mouthful of saliva and said, Lin Hu, this brat's luck is too damn good. He actually found such an evil brat. Young Master Huang, just what is this brat's cultivation? Huang Xiang gave an enigmatic smile and turned around to leave, leaving behind a confused Big Head Fan. His expression was uncertain as he said, Hang, this brat made me lose a lot of face. Even if I have to dig 3 feet into the ground, I will dig you out. I want to see just what kind of god you are to dare make me, Big Head Fan, your enemy. In the car, Lin Hu handed a bag to Tang Jing and said, Little brother, this is $100,000. Today it's all thanks to you, otherwise I would have lost to Big Head Fan. It's just a small matter. Lin Hu hesitated for a moment and said, Actually, when young Master Huang asked about your identity, you should have told him the truth. Oh, why? Young Master Huang clearly wants to recruit you. In the future with the Huang clan's help, your life will be much smoother. I like to rely on my own efforts to obtain what I want. Tang Jing said. But you rejected young Master Huang like that. If he gets angry, it won't be good for you. Lin Hu said sincerely. Tang Jing wrinkled his eyebrows and said, What can he do? It's nothing. Since I'm the one who brought you here, I'll definitely take responsibility. If young Master Huang really has any ill feelings, I'll block it for you. Lin Hu patted his chest and said, You just need to prepare for tomorrow's match. Tang Jing did not say a word as he took the money and left the car. He returned to the hospital and deposited a portion of the money into the hospital's account. He then returned to the ward to see his grandfather. Afterwards, he adjusted his breathing and recalled the day's harvest. There was no need to worry about money. Right now, the most important thing was to increase his cultivation. He was already a 2nd grade refining qi cultivator. In order to reach the 3rd grade refining qi, he needed more competitions and stronger confrontations. In addition, he also needed more pure yin energy. Little brat, just holding hands is not enough. In order to obtain more pure yin energy, you must take a step further. Tian Chanzi said. What do you mean take a step further? I can't force myself on you, right? Hi hey, if you are willing, then I have no objections. Tian Chanzi said with a wicked smile. Old pervert. Tian Chanzi was speechless. He was thinking for him yet he was still being wronged. However, the stronger Tang Jing was, the stronger his soul would be. Thus, he pretended that he did not hear anything and continued to say, I am not talking about taking a step further. I am talking about physical contact. Kissing? The child is worth teaching. Tang Jing's mind was active. This temptation was very big for a young virgin, but the difficulty was not much different from forcing himself on her. Little brat, if you do not take down a woman, the stronger your qi will be, the closer you will be to death. Moreover, in order to save your grandfather, this is what you must do. Tian Chanzi said earnestly. Tang Zheng calmed down. Before, he did not have the ability to think about this kind of thing. Now that he was under pressure, he must do this kind of thing. Moreover, it was normal for men and women to fall in love. Many of his classmates had openly fallen in love, so it was understandable for him to fall in love. However, this love partner was worth thinking about. He could only choose between Fang Shishir, Yi Dingdang, and Lu Qingmei. Although Lu Qingmei had a mysterious Yin body and had the most pure Yin energy, she was the most unrealistic choice. After all, she was a teacher and he was a student. As for Yi Dingdang and Fang Shishir, the image of the two appeared in his mind. As the two school belles, their beauty naturally had their own merits. However, one was unruly and the other was gentle. Fang Shishir. He made up his mind. He and Fang Shishir had been in the same class for more than 2 years. They were very familiar with each other. Imperceptibly, he also had a good impression of Fang Shishir. When the conditions were right, he would naturally pursue her. Seeing that he had made up his mind, Tian Chanzi breathed a sigh of relief. Although it was a little regretful that he did not choose Lu Qingmei, it was better to have a goal than to have no goal. Boy, you must carry out the plan to pick up girls when you go to school tomorrow, Tian Chanzi urged. At dawn, Tang Zheng carried his backpack and walked into the campus. For him, who had never pursued a girl before, this task was no less than practicing martial arts. It was even more difficult than practicing martial arts. He had no idea where to start. However, even if you have never eaten pork, you have seen pigs run. The most important thing in pursuing a girl was to increase the chances of them interacting with each other and let them understand each other. Unknowingly, he walked to the door of grade 12 class 1 and found that Fang Shishir had already arrived. She was immersed in her studies. He walked straight over and immediately attracted everyone's attention. Everyone looked at him as if he was an alien. They watched him walk in front of Fang Shishir. What is he going to do? Everyone guessed. Xiao Fei's eyes were about to split open. He had tried to frame Tang Zheng time and time again, but in the end, he had failed. Seeing that Tang Zheng was actually directly looking for Fang Shishir, he felt a strong sense of crisis. He suddenly stood up and quickly blocked in front of Tang Zheng. He stared at Tang Zheng like a tiger watching its prey. Chapter 28. You've already been kicked out of class 1, so what are you doing here? Xiao Fei arrogantly scolded. Several of his lackeys also rushed out like a swarm of bees, eyeing Tang Zheng like a tiger eyeing its prey. Tang Zheng wrinkled his eyebrows as he promised his grandfather that he would not take the initiative to find trouble with Xiao Fei, but Xiao Fei was the one who bumped into the muzzle of the gun. This cannot be blamed on him, as he coldly shouted, "A good dog does not block the road." Scram! Schwa! The entire class's gaze was attracted over. Could it be that they misheard? Tang Zheng actually told Xiao Fei to scram and even called him a dog. Is this still the same Tang Zheng that only knows how to study? Everyone subconsciously recalled what happened during this period of time and discovered that ever since Tang Zheng left class 1, it was as if he had become a completely different person. Xiao Fei's face flushed red as he angrily said, "What did you say? Didn't you hear? A good dog does not block the road. You're the dog. No, you're the rapist. A rapist coming to our class is an insult to us." Xiao Fei ridiculed. Nonsense. Tang Zheng's eyes trembled as he looked at Xiao Fei in a dignified manner. Xiao Fei felt a wave of pressure hit him in the face, causing him to be unable to breathe. He gathered his courage and said, "What, did I hit your sore spot? Do you want to hit me again?" Tang Zheng really wanted to beat him up, but if he did it in front of so many people, then he would definitely be expelled. He could not let this happen, so he lowered his voice and said, "Xiao Fei, if you don't want others to know, then don't do it in the first place. The things that you did to me, I will remember each and every one of them in my heart. In the future, I will pay you back in double. Just you wait." Finished speaking, he did not make a move. Instead, he released his aura and an invisible force made Xiao Fei and his lackeys move out of the way. He walked in front of Fang Shisher and said, "Let's have lunch together today. Is that okay?" Fang Shisher stared at him in a daze. Just a moment ago, Tang Zheng's overbearing aura made her heart beat faster. Now that she heard him ask her to lunch in front of so many people, her face instantly turned red. In the past, many people had asked her out, but she had always politely rejected them. But this time, she couldn't bring herself to say no. "I'll wait for you in the cafeteria at noon." Tang Zheng didn't give her a chance to refuse. Boom! Suddenly, the classroom was in an uproar. Everyone was whispering to each other, secretly sizing up Fang Shisher. Qiao Fei panicked and hurriedly said, "Fang Shisher, you can't promise him. He is a rapist. He has ulterior motives." Before he could finish, Fang Shisher glared at him and said, "Qiao Fei, how can you say that about Tang Zheng? He's not the kind of person you say he is. Didn't the police prove it?" Qiao Fei was speechless. After holding back for a while, he faintly said, "In any case, he's not a good person. If you go, you'll be like a lamb entering a tiger's den. I don't need you to meddle in my affairs." Fang Shisher said angrily. She continued to immerse herself in her studies and ignored the other party. At noon, Tang Zheng stopped in front of the cafeteria. Yi Dingdang looked at him in astonishment and asked, "Why aren't you walking? You go eat first." "I have something to do," Tang Zheng said. Yi Dingdang didn't think much of it and directly walked into the cafeteria. Ever since Tang Zheng saved her, the two of them basically ate lunch together. This time, although Yi Dingdang was surprised, she didn't think much of it. "Sorry for making you wait." Fang Shisher hurriedly walked over and said apologetically, "No problem. I also just arrived." Tang Zheng smiled. He felt a rush of excitement. The two of them walked in together. Fang Shisher lowered her head. Tang Zheng directly brought her to the second floor. The restaurant on the second floor was like a restaurant. One could order freely and not eat in a big pot. The two of them sat down and a waiter came over. "Whatever you want to eat, just order." Tang Zheng directly handed the menu to Fang Shisher. It was his first time going up to the second floor. "Anything is fine. Just order." "How can that be? This is my first time treating you to a meal. I can't be careless." Tang Zheng insisted that she order. Fang Shisher couldn't argue with him and ordered the cheapest side dish. Tang Zheng knew that she was worried about his money, so he ordered a side dish and a soup. Fang Shisher hurriedly waved her hand and said, "We don't need that much. We can't finish it." "Huh, you can't leave if you don't finish it," Tang Zheng joked. Fang Shisher coquettishly looked at him and said, "It's not good to be wasteful. Moreover, you're spending money. It's my money that you're spending. You don't have to feel bad." Fang Shisher said in her heart, "It's because it's your money that I feel bad. Your money is the most difficult to come by." But she didn't say anything because she was worried about Tang Zheng's self-esteem. The two of them were silent. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Fortunately, the food was quickly served. Tang Zheng hurriedly asked her to eat. "Why did you ask me out to eat?" Fang Shisher asked. Tang Zheng was startled and said, "We've been classmates for so many years. Can't I ask you out to eat?" Fang Shisher smiled and nodded. "Of course you can." Qiao Fei sat in the distance and looked at the two of them with red eyes. Especially when he saw Fang Shisher's bashful appearance, he snapped the chopsticks in his hand and gnashed his teeth. Cheating couple. But he knew that he wasn't Tang Zheng's opponent and didn't dare to rashly make a move. Suddenly, he had an idea. He gave instructions to one of his lackeys and the lackey quickly went downstairs. A moment later, Yi Dingdang's beautiful figure walked up to the second floor. Qiao Fei smiled proudly as if he was watching a good show. Yi Dingdang walked straight to Tang Zheng and Fang Shisher and sat down in front of them and said, "Yo, you two are giving preferential treatment here." Fang Shisher's heart tightened. She felt as if she was a third party caught red-handed. Back then, Yi Dingdang had personally admitted that she and Tang Zheng were lovers. Later on, she deliberately distanced herself from Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng acted as if nothing had happened and said, "I'm inviting Fang Shusher to eat." "What's the matter?" "Hee, your brain has really been enlightened. You actually know how to date." Yi Dingdang said with interest. Fang Shusher's face turned red. These ordinary words were very grating to her. She immediately stood up and stammered, "Yi Dingdang, we aren't what you think." Yi Dingdang said with a smile that wasn't a smile, "Oh, what am I thinking? There's nothing going on between me and Tang Zheng. We're already dating." Even an idiot wouldn't believe it. Fang Shusher had thousands of words to say but didn't know how to refute. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. Tang Zheng's face sank and said, "Yi Dingdang, don't joke around." Yi Dingdang teased him and said, "Am I joking? I didn't say anything. I'm leaving first." Fang Shusher turned to leave. "Wait a moment." Tang Zheng quickly grabbed her hand. Fang Shusher's heart tightened. This was the first time she had held hands with someone other than her father. Her heart felt as if there was a little deer running around, but she couldn't break free from Tang Zheng's hand. "Sit down and eat. We still haven't finished eating. You said before that we shouldn't waste food," Tang Zheng gently said. Fang Shusher looked at Yi Dingdang and then looked at Tang Zheng. She was in a dilemma. "Yi Dingdang, don't joke around. Otherwise I won't talk to you anymore," Tang Zheng said with a cold face. Yi Dingdang stuck out her tongue and said, Okay, I won't disturb you too. But I have to remind you that someone just tipped me off that you two are dating upstairs. You have to be careful of that person." As she said this, she looked towards Qiao Fei's direction. Qiao Fei was concentrating on looking over here. When he saw several people looking over, he subconsciously turned his head. Tang Zheng immediately understood what was going on. He hatefully said, "Qiao Fei, I have no enmity with you. You have repeatedly opposed me. Too hateful. Hee, you've already snatched someone else's sweetheart and you still say you have no enmity with her. That's not right," Yi Dingdang mischievously said. Fang Shusher was so embarrassed that she couldn't show her face. But her heart relaxed. From the conversation between Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang, she finally understood that the relationship between the two wasn't what she thought it was. "You two continue your tryst. I'll be leaving first." Yi Dingdang went downstairs, leaving the others disappointed. There wasn't a battle between the two girls that they were expecting. Many people beat their feet and stomped their chests. Was there any justice left? How could Tang Zheng be caught on a date and still be safe and sound? Could it be that there was something wrong with the brains of the two school beauties? Fang Shusher once again sat down. Her hand was tightly held by Tang Zheng. She lowered her head and said, "Hurry and let go of my hand." Even though this was the first time that Tang Zheng got on a sedan chair, he knew that at this time he absolutely couldn't let go. So he struck while the iron was hot and held her hand even tighter. "I won't let go. It's not good to let others see. If they want to see, then let them see. They can only be envious." Even though Fang Shusher was shy, she felt incomparably sweet. She coquettishly said, "How can classmates randomly hold hands?" Tang Zheng couldn't help but stare blankly and unconsciously said, "You're really beautiful." Nonsense. Fang Shusher's heart was bursting with joy. A woman would doll herself up for her lover. This sentence was better than thousands of sweet words. "What I said is true," Tang Zheng said in all seriousness. "Humph, I didn't realize before that you could be so glib," Fang Shusher said in a coquettish tone. "Boy, this girl is definitely interested in you. Strike while the iron is hot and take her down," Tian Chanzi urged. Tang Zheng's heart was hot and he asked, "Fang Shusher, be my girlfriend, okay?" Fang Shusher's heart was like a deer. She raised her head and looked at him blankly. She didn't expect him to be so bold and direct. For a moment, she didn't know how to answer. After a long while, she stammered, "Our priority right now is to study. Being my girlfriend won't affect your studies." Tang Zheng said stubbornly. Fang Shishir felt incomparably sweet, but also incomparably tangled. In her mind, she should study hard in high school. Falling in love is a matter for university. But Tang Zheng's words aroused her feelings. She was also a young girl in the prime of her youth. How could she not yearn for love? Moreover, after getting along with Tang Zheng for more than 2 years, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't surpass Tang Zheng. Subconsciously, she already had a sense of worship for him. After a long time, this worship gradually bred feelings, but it was always suppressed. This time, Tang Zheng's confession made this feeling erupt like a flash flood. There was a voice in her heart shouting, "Say yes, say yes." Chapter 29. Tang Zheng and Fang Shishir walked hand in hand on campus, undoubtedly becoming the most beautiful scene on campus. The other couples could not be compared to them at all. Many people widened their eyes and looked at this scene in disbelief. This was not an illusion. The last place student was really holding the school beauty Fang Shishir's hand, and the two of them looked so sweet that it could not be faked, making others envious. But wasn't Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang a couple? How could he be with Fang Shishir? Many people felt that their brains were not enough to process this. They looked at Tang Zheng with eyes that were red with envy, wishing that they could replace him. Fang Shishir looked at those burning gazes and said sweetly, "Look, the others can't wait to kill you. Humph, they are jealous of me. Let them be jealous." Tang Zheng said proudly. Fang Shishir said playfully, "Have you been planning this for a long time?" "Of course, but you are a high and mighty swan. I did not think that I would succeed." "Nonsense, how am I a swan? I am just an ordinary ugly duckling." Fang Shishir winked playfully, "Tang Zheng, although I promised you, you can't affect your studies. In the future, after school, let's review together, okay? Let's try to get into a good school for the college entrance exam. Unspecified currency, no problem." Tang Zheng was full of confidence. Fang Shishir's heart ached, and she said carefully, "If there is anything you don't understand, we can learn from each other." She knew that Tang Zheng was not the same as before. He was no longer the top student, so she was afraid that she would hurt his nerves. "Okay, in the future, I will ask you if there is anything I don't understand." Seeing that he was not provoked, Fang Shishir sighed in relief and said, "Let's start reviewing tonight. The mock exam is in half a month. At that time, we will get good results." "I can't do it tonight." "How about tomorrow night?" Tang Zheng agreed to go boxing that night. "All right, I'll look for you tomorrow night. But you have to remember to revise when you go back. Studying is like sailing against the current. If you don't advance, you will fall behind. You can't slack off," Fang Shishir reminded him. The two of them reluctantly returned to their respective classrooms. As soon as Tang Zheng entered the classroom, he was stopped by Feng Yong. "Boss, did I see wrongly just now? Are you really with Fang Shishir?" "That's right." Tang Zheng happily smiled. "What about Sister Dingdang?" Tang Zheng patted him on the shoulder and said, "There's really nothing going on between me and Yi Dingdang. You all misunderstood in the past." Feng Yong was flabbergasted as he opened his mouth wide enough to stuff an egg in. He glanced at Yi Dingdang and cautiously said, "Boss, I think Sister Dingdang is more compatible with you. Both of you are experts." "Huh, don't worry about it." "All right, but boss, you have to teach me a few moves." "How come every time you make a move, it's so easy? You're simply a love saint." Feng Yong's eyes sparkled as he said in worship. Tang Zheng said in all seriousness, "First of all, you have to be as handsome as me. F***ck, boss, you're too much of a bully. Apart from the hardware, is there any software aspect?" Feng Yong rolled his eyes as he received a heavy blow. Feng Yong was 1.7 meters tall. His originally not tall body combined with his fat body could not be considered handsome. But his pair of small eyes were bright and full of expression, leaving a deep impression on others. Tang Zheng said encouragingly, "Study well and you'll naturally be able to hug a beauty. There is a house of gold in a book, and there is a jade in a book. The ancients did not lie to me. All right, I will study hard. Boss, I'm already implementing the revision plan that you gave me. In a few days, I'll let you check the results of my studies." Feng Yong was full of confidence. Tang Zheng returned to his seat and sat down. Yi Dingdang looked at him with a smile that was not a smile. He touched his face and asked, "Is there something dirty on my face? Why are you looking at me like that?" I'm looking at your proud face. How does it feel to hug a beauty?" Yi Dingdang teased. Tang Zheng resentfully said, "Not bad, not bad. Be careful not to become the target of public criticism. I heard that many people like Fang Shishir. You have too many love rivals. Thank you for your concern. I can handle it. It's easy to dodge a spear in the open but hard to defend against a stab in the dark," Yi Dingdang said. Tang Zheng's heart moved. He could not help but think of the matter of being framed by the police. Although that matter was closed, he did not forget that the mastermind was still at large. He wrinkled his eyebrows and made up his mind to find time to get to the bottom of the matter. Night fell. In the abandoned factory in the suburbs, the music was still deafening. When Tang Zheng and Lin Hu appeared together, the audience burst into a wave of cheers. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng with blazing eyes. Clearly, the strength that he displayed yesterday made everyone have a new understanding of him. "Little handsome brother, do your best. Today, I'm betting on you. You must win. Right, fiercely beat your opponent and continue to win." Tang Zheng turned a deaf ear and walked straight to the front of the rostrum. Huang Xiang and Boss Fan were already waiting there. Boss Fan's face was very ugly. Yesterday he ordered to investigate Tang Zheng's background, but it was to no avail. There was no such person in the underworld. It was as if he appeared out of thin air. "Boss Fan, how come you still have the nerve to come today?" Lin Hu jokingly asked. Boss Fan coldly snorted and said, "Lin Hu, don't be so proud. Today it is young Master Huang's fighter. This little brat is definitely finished." Huang Xiang meaningfully smiled and said, "This little brother is unfathomable. I don't dare make any guarantees. However, exchanging pointers and letting us broaden our horizons is also good." Lin Hu probingly asked, "I don't know who young Master Huang is sending up today?" C.I. Jun. Lin Hu sucked in a breath of cold air and cried out in alarm. C.I. Jun is a 4th-grade refining body expert. Hee, since little brother can easily defeat a 2nd-grade refining body martial artist, if I were to send another 2nd-grade refining body martial artist, wouldn't I just be asking for humiliation? Huang Xiang laughed as his eyes stared at Tang Zheng. The others also stared fixedly at him, waiting for his answer. Tang Zheng acted as if nothing had happened and nodded his head, "Okay. Good, you have spirit." Huang Xiang praised. Boss Fan unhappily said, "Little brat, you overestimate yourself. Be careful that you don't even know how you died." Tang Zheng turned a deaf ear. Lin Hu quietly asked, "Little brother, are you confident?" "I'll know after I try," Tang Zheng said without batting an eyelid. Lin Hu advised, "This C.I. Jun has fought many times and his moves are ruthless. His opponents often die or are heavily injured, so you cannot be careless." Tang Zheng nodded his head. This time it seemed like he would face a thorny opponent, but the stronger the opponent, the more excited he would be. Only a strong opponent could stimulate him to gain more insights. Tang Zheng walked onto the stage and the cheers were like thunder. Dong dong dong. A series of muffled footsteps sounded, and a man with a black face like an iron tower walked onto the ring. The cheers came to an abrupt end, and many people couldn't help but stop breathing. A moment later, cries of surprise sounded like thunder. C.I. Jun, it's actually C.I. Jun, F***K, this little handsome brother is doomed. This C.I. Jun is too strong, there have already been many experts that have fallen under his hands. Quick, place your bets on C.I. June. This round he will definitely win without a doubt. Hang, I'll bet on the little handsome brother. Didn't you see how calm he is? This is the demeanor of an expert. Maybe this time C.I. June will fail miserably. Different people in the audience had different opinions and they all placed their bets on the fighters they favored. Tang Jing calmly looked at his opponent. C.I. June, his entire person was like an army knife, showing off his ability. C.I. June also sized up Tang Jing but was unable to see through him. He heavily stepped on the stage and stared at Tang Jing like a tiger eyeing its prey and said, "Your strength is not bad, but compared to me, you will lose without a doubt." "That's not for certain," Tang Jing said without a change in his expression. "In a moment you will definitely regret saying these words," C.I. June said with a murderous look. The referee announced the start of the match. At that moment, the atmosphere on the stage became tense. Both sides stared at each other, only to hear C.I. June's angry roar. With the tip of his foot, he charged forward like a military knife, his biting cold murderous intent surging forth. Tang Jing's eyes narrowed as he flipped his palms and the heaven-gathering hand attacked from all directions. This time Tang Jing did not choose to dodge but met force with force. He wanted to test how long he could last. Cultivation is to force the body to display its potential, and when a person is forced to the limit, they will be able to display their potential. Tang Jing used his opponent to put himself in a dangerous situation and thus forced himself to display his potential. Both sides flashed like lightning as if swords and knives clashed. Pang! The air exploded and invisible waves of qi rose up. In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged no less than 10 moves and each move was heavy and powerful. C.I. June's fists contained inner strength. Every time he punched out, in addition to the enormous strength, his fists seemed to be imbued with steel needles, causing Tang Jing to feel pain. Tang Jing, however, did not retreat. His fist contained true qi, and true qi was even more vigorous than inner strength. Even though the two were 2 realms apart, the density of true qi and inner strength was actually on par. C.I. June's pupils shrunk as he said, "You are also a 4th-grade refining body?" Tang Jing did not comment as he extended his arm and grabbed onto C.I. June's arm. Taking advantage of the situation, C.I. June's veins popped out as he twisted his arm like a fried dough twist. C.I. June roared as his inner strength surged and pierced into Tang Jing's palm like steel needles. Tang Jing had no choice but to release his grip. In the next second, C.I. June's fist had already arrived in front of Tang Jing. This attack caused a biting cold wind to blow against Tang Jing's hair. He quickly retreated and ducked to dodge. Pung! The fist struck a pillar at the side of the stage. Wood chips flew everywhere as the pillar was directly broken by the fist. One could imagine that if this fist were to land on the body, even the bones would be broken. Want to dodge? No way. C.I. June coldly snorted as he quickly attacked. His qi was completely locked onto Tang Jing. Left and right, Tang Jing had nowhere to hide. Tang Jing urged his power, and his true qi quickly circulated. A thunderous sound exploded within his body. Both of his hands moved, and the sky was filled with shadows of his hands, completely defending from all directions. Chapter 30. Boom! With a thunderous strike, both sides simultaneously retreated. 2 long trenches appeared under their feet as the floor cracked and dust flew up. The momentum was vast and terrifying. See, the audience cried out in alarm as they continuously sucked in a breath of cold air. This series of attacks was too shocking, dazzling the eyes and too much for the eyes to take in. Tang Jing's entire body was in pain. The opponent's inner strength had affected his body and this feeling was not pleasant at all. His bones felt as if they were about to fall apart. Luckily, he was able to circulate his qi and reduce the majority of the force, otherwise his internal organs would have been shattered by this attack. I overestimated myself. After all, there is a difference of 2 realms between him and Yi Dingdang. Even though he and Yi Dingdang are both at the 4th grade refining body, he is far more ferocious than Yi Dingdang. Moreover, he has plenty of battle experience. I almost fell into his trap. C.I. Jun's face was black. His shock was not any less than Tang Zhang's. Moreover, it was not much better than Tang Zhang's. It must be known that Tang Zhang's chi was extremely young. When it struck his body, it was as if he had been hit by a train. If he did not reduce the majority of the force while retreating, he would have vomited blood on the spot. C.I. Jun's eyes burned with the flames of war. He did not feel any fear, instead his fighting spirit was completely ignited. Roar! With a long roar, pang, the floor was crushed under his feet. In a flash, he appeared in front of Tang Zhang. Like an army knife, cold light shot out in all directions. Tang Zhang's arm shot out to meet the attack. Pang, the two collided. Tang Zhang forcibly stopped his retreat as his other hand mysteriously reached C.I. Jun's chest. With a light brush, C.I. Jun's attack came to an abrupt halt. Pressure point technique. Tang Zhang was forced to use the pressure point technique. C.I. Jun's veins popped out as his eyes flashed with an ominous glint. He roared but found that he was unable to move. So. Tang Zhang grabbed C.I. Jun's arm and quickly threw him out. At the same time, his arm swept across C.I. Jun's chest and released the pressure point. C.I. Jun regained his freedom and wanted to resist, but it was already too late. The huge inertia brought him flying out of the arena. On the rostrum, Huang Xiang suddenly stood up. His pupils constricted as he stared fixedly at Tang Zhang. There was complete silence as everyone held their breaths. It was hard for them to imagine that the battle would end so quickly. C.I. Jun actually repeated the same mistake and was thrown out of the stage. Whoosh! After a moment of silence, there were thunderous cheers and applause. Everyone was shouting non-stop as if they had taken stimulants. Little handsome, you're too handsome. You're my idol, ah. Little handsome brother, you're too manly. Big sister is yours tonight. The cheers lasted for 3 minutes before gradually subsiding. Lin Hu directly rushed onto the arena and hugged Tang Zhang. He was so excited that he was speechless, and said, "Little brother, you're too awesome. This battle was really exciting, and it really opened my eyes." Tang Zhang faintly smiled but did not comment. Huang Xiang walked over with a face full of smiles, and said, "Congratulations, little brother. This battle was very exciting. Little brother's cultivation far surpassed my imagination. I admire you. You flatter me," Tang Zhang said without batting an eyelid. Lin Hu said, "Young Master Huang, C.I. Jun is also very powerful. My brother was just lucky." He did not want to embarrass Huang Xiang too much. Huang Xiang smiled but did not say anything. Looking at C.I. Jun who was crawling up, he asked, "Was this luck?" C.I. Jun looked at Tang Zhang with a complicated gaze. He slowly shook his head and said, "No." Huang Xiang gave a meaningful smile. "Did you hear that? This little brother is really strong. But I'm very curious as to how strong you are." Tang Zhang did not say anything. Huang Xiang did not pursue the matter. He changed the topic and asked, "I don't know if you're interested in another battle tomorrow night. I guarantee it will be even more exciting." Tang Zhang had already made an appointment with Fang Shishir tomorrow night, so he refused. "I don't have time tomorrow. Let's talk about it later." "Okay, as long as you have time, you can let me know at any time." Huang Xiang did not force him. "Then we'll take our leave first." After Tang Zhang and Lin Hu left, Boss Fan walked over and angrily said, "Young Master Huang, this little brat is very strange. Where did he come from?" Boss Fan was a third-grade refining body. Compared to C.I. Jun, he was slightly inferior. Seeing that C.I. Jun had lost to Tang Zhang, he did not dare to rashly provoke Tang Zhang. Huang Xiang gave a meaningful smile, and said, "Interesting. In the ordinary balance region, such a fierce person actually appeared." After he finished speaking, he left. C.I. Jun dejectedly followed behind. The two entered a caravan. Ci Jun sat in front of Huang Xiang with his head down and said, "Young Master Yi, I was useless. I lost. Tell me the specifics of what happened. At the beginning you two were evenly matched and he was even weaker than you. But in the final exchange, how did you lose?" Huang Xiang's face did not have the slightest trace of a smile. It was as cold as the surface of a lifeless lake. Ci Jun recalled for a moment and said, "In those few seconds I discovered that I could not move my body. All of my attacks had lost their effect. Then I was thrown away by him. At that time my body regained its freedom, but it was already too late." "You couldn't move." Huang Xiang's eyes lit up. He could not help but sit up straight. Could it be the pressure point technique? Pressure point technique? Ci Jun was shocked. He immediately shook his head. Impossible. The pressure point technique is a martial art that only Hotian realm martial artists can use. He is so young, how could he be a Hotian realm martial artist? Huang Xiang nodded and said, "Hotian realm martial artists would not come here to fight. No matter how he did it, he must have many secrets on him." "Then what should we do?" Huang Xiang lightly said, "First investigate his identity before making any plans. Moreover, since he is willing to fight, no matter how deep he hides, I have my own methods to uncover his secrets." Tang Zheng calmed his breathing and slowly sensed the changes in his body. His true qi flowed faster than usual. Moreover, after he circulated the heavenly ancient well, he absorbed the thin spiritual energy of heaven and earth. As a result, the amount of true qi that was converted was clearly greater than usual. His true qi grew more and more. At daybreak, his 9 main meridians true qi had reached 2.5 inches. He took a deep breath. His mind was refreshed. These 2 battles had given him a lot of benefits. Quantitative changes had led to qualitative changes. Finally, his true qi had leaped to a new level. However, there was still a large gap between him and 3 inches of true qi. As long as I fight a few more times, reaching the 3rd grade refining body won't be difficult. Tang Zheng was full of confidence and was filled with fighting spirit. Tian Chanzi's untimely voice sounded, "Little brat, don't be happy too early." This time Huang Xiang sent out a 4th grade refining body. Next time, it might be a 5th grade refining body, or even a 6th grade refining body. At that time, you won't be as lucky as you were this time. 5th grade refining body, 6th grade refining body. Tang Zheng's breath stagnated. He had fought with a 6th grade refining body assassin before. Together with Yi Dingdang, he was able to catch the opponent off guard and win by a fluke. If he were to face a 5th grade refining body or a 6th grade refining body, even if he had the pressure point technique, he might not be able to win. Moreover, this time he had already used the pressure point technique on Ci Jun. Next time, his opponent would definitely be on guard. If he wanted to catch the opponent off guard, it would be even more difficult. In this kind of life and death battle, if one were to lose, the outcome would be very miserable. Injuring one's muscles and bones would be considered light, but being crippled or even dying was a possibility. You must reach the 3rd grade refining body before you can continue boxing. Otherwise, it will be too dangerous and the gains will not make up for the losses. Tian Chanzi warned. Tang Zheng's eyes immediately darkened. The light of victory had already shone down, but in the end, it was blocked by a black cloud. He was incomparably dejected as he asked, "Then what other methods are there to increase my cultivation?" "I already said that this is a nearly impossible matter, yet you insist on fighting for that slim chance of survival. How could it be so easy?" Tian Chanzi was also helpless. "I won't give up. At worst, I will continue boxing. As long as I am a bit more careful, there won't be too big of a problem." Tang Zheng did not give up. "You are courting death." Tian Chanzi was flustered and exasperated. "This is my life. Whether I am courting death or not, it is none of your business. In order to save grandfather, even if I have to give up this life, so what?" Tang Zheng coldly said. You're pissing me off, really pissing me off. How can you be so stubborn, just like a stubborn donkey? If something really happened to Tang Zheng, then Tian Chanzi would also vanish like smoke into thin air. There would be no hope for him to return to the sun. He unwillingly sighed and said, "Little brat, right now your only chance lies with that little girl Fang Shishir. As long as you combine with her and absorb a large amount of her pure yin energy, you will still have a sliver of hope of breaking through." Tang Zheng coldly snorted, declining to comment. This made Tian Chanzi so angry that he began to shout loudly, cursing him for being stubborn, even more stubborn than this old thing. Tang Zheng arrived at the school. From afar, he saw Fang Shishir standing at the school gate. She was like a fresh daffodil, slender and elegant, bathing in the morning light, attracting everyone's attention. She also saw Tang Zheng. Her small face immediately bloomed with the most beautiful smile, just like a flower blooming in an instant, tender and beautiful. Tang Zheng swayed, feeling incomparably sweet, and quickly walked over. "Classmate Tang Zheng, what are you looking at?" Fang Shishir blinked her big bright eyes, playfully asked. "Of course I am looking at my most beautiful girlfriend." "Humph, sweet words, sugar-coated bullets." Fang Shishir pouted, looking extremely cute. "I am speaking from the bottom of my heart." "Who knows if you are speaking from the bottom of your heart? Tell me, did you study hard last night?" Fang Shishir gradually adapted to the role of a girlfriend, but she did not lose her role as a top student. Tang Zheng held her hand, holding it in his palm. She symbolically struggled a bit, and then let him do whatever he wanted, and said, "Of course I studied." "Your orders, I will definitely carry them out." That's more like it. "Tonight I will supervise you. When the time comes, I will give you a surprise." Fang Shishir mysteriously said. "Surprise, what surprise?" "I will not tell you. If I tell you, it will not be a surprise." Tang Zheng's head itched. What kind of surprise would it be? But it would not be good to force it. The two held hands, like other couples, walked into the school. He sent her to the entrance of Class 1, and then returned to his classroom. But he was distracted, thinking about what kind of surprise she would give him. Could it be a kiss, or, his heart was surging, and he almost had a nosebleed. He quickly abandoned all distracting thoughts, and first focused on studying for a while, and then focused on cultivating. "Tang Zheng, get out here." Suddenly, a lion's roar sounded. Chapter 31. Schwa. Everyone subconsciously looked towards the door. The old witch, Wu Zuehong, stood at the door with her hands on her hips. She looked like a ferocious beast that was about to devour someone. Tang Zheng looked at Wu Zuehong. What did she come here for? "Tang Zheng, get the hell out here." Wu Zuehong once again used the lion's roar. Tang Zheng wrinkled his eyebrows. Wu Zuehong was an unreasonable lunatic. He did not want to tangle with her, but he also could not let her hoot at the door. After all, it would have a bad influence on him. He stood up and directly walked over. Wu Zuehong aggressively looked like she was going to pull Tang Zheng's ear, but Tang Zheng easily dodged. He angrily glared and said, "What are you doing here?" "Hein, Tang Zheng, why don't you take a piss and look in the mirror? What is your status? A toad wanting to eat swan meat, you are too shameless." Wu Zuehong disdainfully scolded. Tang Zheng flew into a rage. Wu Zuehong did not distinguish between right and wrong, so he did not understand what was going on. He clenched his teeth and coldly said, "Don't rely on your position as a teacher to do whatever you want. I am no longer your student, so if you want to teach me a lesson, you are not worthy. You are a student of this school and I am a teacher, so I can teach you a lesson. Moreover, look at infinity, no matter what you do, anyone can teach you a lesson." Wu Zuehong chattered on. "Hey, old witch, what are you doing? This is not Class 1, this is Class 7. You want to behave atrociously here and even dare to teach my boss a lesson. Why don't you take a look at who you are?" Feng Yong rushed up and angrily roared. Wu Zuehong was the absolute authority in Class 1, no one ever dared to contradict her. Who would have thought that other than Tang Zheng, there was another little fatty who dared to contradict her? It really was overturning the heavens. Who are you, daring to disrespect your teacher? Be careful that I don't expel you. Wu Zuihong angrily said. Feng Yong used to be timid and afraid of trouble, but ever since he followed Tang Zheng, his young courage was completely aroused. He stared at her without fear and said, "Who do you think you are? Fire me, you can try. The amount of money my father donates to the school every year is enough to crush you to death." Wu Zuihong's heart trembled, and her imposing manner involuntarily weakened. There were too many rich people in this school, and this little fatty must also be a child of a rich family. She couldn't offend him, so she coldly humphed and pretended not to hear. She turned the gun to Tang Zheng and said, "Tang Zheng, come with me." "Why should I go with you?" Tang Zheng used to be afraid of her, but now he was not. "All right, your wings have hardened. I want to see just how hard your wings are." As she spoke, she tried to grab Tang Zheng's arm. However, Tang Zheng's strength suddenly burst forth and bounced her hand away. She cried out in pain. "What are you shouting for?" Yi Dingdang walked over and boldly stood in front of her. She condescendingly looked down at the crazy Wu Zuihong and said, "This is class 7. If you want to take away a student from our class, why don't you ask if everyone agrees?" "Right, what right do you have to take away Tang Zheng? You're not a teacher of our class. Who do you think you are? You dare to point fingers at people from our class." Yi Dingdang had an extremely high prestige in class 7. Once she spoke, the others all agreed. Class 7 was called the Hell class, and there was naturally a reason for it. Aside from their poor grades, the students also had their own personalities. Other than the teacher in charge, Lu Qingmei, they were never afraid of other teachers. Wu Zuihong wanted to show off her teacher's prestige in front of them, but she came to the wrong place. Wu Zuihong's face flushed red. No one had ever dared to treat her with such an attitude. She flew into a rage and endlessly shouted, overturn the heavens, Teacher Wu, what are you doing here?" Lu Qingmei walked over. Her face was covered in frost as she frowned and asked. Wu Zuihong's eyes lit up. She immediately found her target and turned to Lu Qingmei and said, "Teacher Lu, you came at the right time. What kind of people are in your class? They don't have any respect for their teachers." Lu Qingmei directly interrupted her words. Lu Qingmei knew the other party's temper. Her words could not be completely trusted, so she went straight to the point and said, "I know what kind of students are in my class. I don't need others to point fingers at me. Teacher Wu, you're making a ruckus here. Do you still have the demeanor of a teacher? You don't have the qualifications to lecture me." Wu Zuihong couldn't do anything to her students, but she did not fear Lu Qingmei. "Teacher Lu, Tang Zheng is your student, right?" "Of course he is." "Then that's good. Why don't you ask him what he has done?" Lu Qingmei was incomparably flabbergasted. She knew that Tang Zheng had been going to the hospital to take care of his grandfather these past few days after school. Moreover, he had even returned the hospitalization fees that she had paid for him. This caused her to have a good impression of this self-reliant big boy. Tang Zheng saw Lu Qingmei's questioning gaze and said, "I didn't do anything. She just ran over here like a lunatic and started cursing. Teacher Lu, he really is a good student of yours. He did something bad and still dares to deny it." Lu Qingmei angrily said, "Teacher Wu, what exactly did he do? If you can't give me a reason, I'll go and find the principal. You've been targeting Tang Zheng time and time again. What are your intentions?" "It's not that I'm targeting him. It's his own misbehavior." "Tang Zheng, you flatly deny it." "Fine, then I'll ask you until you're speechless. Let me ask you, did you use despicable methods to deceive Fang Shishir?" Tang Zheng was startled. He didn't think that she would actually come for Fang Shishir. No wonder she said that he was a toad that wanted to eat swan meat, and even slandered him for using despicable methods to deceive Fang Shishir. This was simply preposterous. Nonsense. Even now you still dare to deny it. If you didn't deceive her, then why would she agree to date you? What's your status? You're a pauper. What's Fang Shishi's status? One is in the sky and the other is on the ground. Do you think it's possible? If you didn't deceive her, would she agree to date you? Tang Zheng was about to spew smoke from his 7 orifices. Wu Zuehong was simply a mad dog that couldn't be reasoned with. He said, I don't need you to care about the matters between me and Shishi. I'm her teacher. I don't care who cares. It's fine if you're the only one who's behind in grades, but now you actually have ulterior motives to make Fang Shishi fall behind with you. You're too vicious. She's going to be the top scorer in the future, and she's going to be admitted to a prestigious school like Yenqing University. What about you? You can't even go to a junior college. Enough. Lu Qingmei finally exploded. Originally she didn't know what was going on, but now that she knew the ins and outs of the matter, she didn't have the slightest good impression of the unreasonable Wu Zuehong. She knew a thing or two about the matters between Tang Zheng and Fang Shishi. After all, this matter was too sensational and had already spread like wildfire. She originally thought that Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang were a couple, but she didn't expect that he and Fang Shishi were a couple. Students falling in love, this kind of thing couldn't be more normal. She also didn't interfere. After all, this was their private matter. She was also once young. But Wu Zuehong actually used this matter to make an issue out of it. Moreover, she used such unbearable words to insult Tang Zheng. She was so angry that her whole body trembled. She angrily shouted, Wu Zuehong, do you still deserve to be a teacher? Is there a teacher like you? You've simply tarnished the 2 sacred words of a teacher. Tang Zheng is my student. You don't have the qualifications to lecture him. Moreover, I think that Tang Zheng didn't do anything wrong. Good, Lu Qingmei. No wonder the 7th class is so bad. It turns out that they have a teacher like you. You're misleading the students. Wu Zuehong roared in exasperation. What did you say? Say it again. You dare to come to the 7th class and behave atrociously. You dare to speak such arrogant words to Teacher Lu. I, your father, will kill you. The crowd was agitated. The entire class rushed over. They wanted nothing more than to tear Wu Zuehong apart. Even though they were bad students, they still had a lot of respect for Lu Qingmei. This wasn't just because she was beautiful, but because she respected them from the bottom of her heart. This was something that everyone deeply felt. Even though they didn't say it out loud, this sincere feeling was hidden in the bottom of their hearts. Wu Zuehong didn't think that she would provoke everyone's anger. She also didn't think that this group of students would be so bold. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She retreated to the railing. Lu Qingmei stood at the door and stopped the agitated students. She advised, everyone listen to me. There are some people that we shouldn't lower ourselves to her level to avoid lowering ourselves. Teacher Lu is right. There is no need to be angry with this kind of person. It's best for everyone to just ignore her. When I go back, I'm going to tell my dad. I'm going to let him give his opinion to the school. Letting this kind of teacher stay in the school is a disgrace. It's irresponsible to us. Right, I'm also going to tell my mom. Our family donates several million to the school every year. It's not for this kind of teacher to humiliate us. The crowd was agitated. Their voices seemed to be about to lift the ceiling. Wu Zuehong's face was deathly pale. This group of silk pants was not to be trifled with. Especially the families behind them. She couldn't afford to provoke them. She was battered and exhausted. She wanted to leave this place, but Tang Zheng's figure moved and blocked her path. What do you want to do? Let me tell you. Hitting people is illegal. Wu Zuehong's face alternated between red and white. She threatened him. Tang Zheng looked at her with contempt and said, Don't think that everyone is crazy like you. I just want to tell you that me and Shishi's matters are up to us. And you are not worthy. If you dare to do anything excessive to Shishi, I will definitely not let you go. I will do what I say. You. Wu Zuehong was scared out of her wits. She deeply felt that Tang Zhang was no longer the same as before. That sharp gaze and terrifying aura made her tremble in fear. Pa pa pa. Intense applause rang out. Everyone continuously cheered. Well said. You are not worthy to make decisions. Quickly scram. Wu Zuehong ran away like a stray dog, and the applause did not stop for a long time. Everyone looked at Tang Zhang with fervent eyes. His aura was too handsome, and many girls had stars in their eyes as they said in amazement, "Wah, this is a real man. Too handsome. If I had a boyfriend like this, it would be worth it to die." Yi Dingdang looked at Tang Zhang with a burning gaze, her eyes full of splendor. Chapter 32. Everyone looked at the serious Lu Qingmei as they had never seen her like this before. They couldn't help but feel apprehensive as they quickly returned to their seats. How does it feel to be pointed at and scolded as trash? Lu Qingmei coldly asked. Her voice was ice-cold like the cold wind blowing from a glacier. Everyone's heart was stifled as the air seemed to solidify. We are not trash. Feng Yong stood up with a red face. Yes, our grades are bad, but we are not trash. We also have dignity. Another person stood up. Immediately, the crowd was stirred up as people continuously stood up. This is not something you can say. Their mouths are on their bodies. They only look at grades. Your grades are at the bottom. How can you not let others talk about it? Lu Qingmei jokingly said. So what if their grades are good? Our grades are bad because we don't want to study. It's not because we are stupid. Feng Yong loudly said as the others loudly echoed. Yes, we are not idiots. If you are not idiots, then how can you prove it? If you can't even study, what qualifications do you have to say you are not idiots? Lu Qingmei's words were like steel needles piercing into the hearts of these young boys and girls, mercilessly piercing holes in their hearts. Plus or minus, isn't it just studying? You say it as if we don't know how to do it. We will definitely study hard and let those who look down on us be speechless. We will let them know that their words are dog shit. Yes, dog shit. Let them know how powerful we are. The classroom seemed to explode as each and every one of them were filled with righteous indignation as if they were brave warriors ready to die. After being goaded by such a simple method, you still say you are not idiots. Yi Dingdang coldly watched from the side as she muttered in a low voice. Tang Zhang looked at her and said, I feel that Teacher Lu's painstaking actions are for everyone's good. Yi Dingdang coldly snorted and said, there are only 3 months left. What methods does she have to turn the tide and let this group of ignorant and incompetent people improve their grades? Where there's a will, there's a way. If you don't work hard at such a young age, how can you have any ambition in the future? Tang Zhang said disapprovingly. You sound like you're in your 70s or 80s. Besides, the worst student in our class is you, Yi Dingdang said mischievously. Tang Zhang shrugged and said, you don't have to worry about me. I'm confident that I can get a satisfactory result in the college entrance exam. Yi Dingdang had a suspicious look on her face. She really did not know where his confidence came from. The corners of Lu Qingmei's mouth curled up slightly. Looking at the excited crowd, she heaved a sigh of relief. She had been looking for a way to stimulate everyone's fighting spirit to learn, but it was easier said than done. She didn't expect Wu Zuehong to give her a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so after a little trick, everyone fell for her trick. Alright, since everyone is so confident, then I'll wait and see. There are only 10 days left until the monthly test. I hope to see the results of everyone's hard work at that time. Teacher, don't worry. Our grades will definitely improve. What do you all say? Feng Yong shouted with a red face. Right, we will definitely improve. Alright, let's start class. Lu Qingmei opened her textbook and began class. This time it was clearly different from before. In the past everyone was focused on the class, but not on the class, but on admiring her beauty. But this time they were really focused on the class. Perhaps their foundation was a bit lacking, but as long as they persevered, learning was not that far away. On this day, a strange scene appeared in Pengcheng International School. The originally noisy Hell class actually changed. After class, there was no noise. Instead, everyone was focused on learning. It made people wonder if they went to the wrong place. Strange, this was just too strange. This phenomenon continued until after school. Seeing the originally cynical students become obedient students, everyone felt that it was unreal. Tang Zheng walked out of the classroom and found Fang Shishir standing at the door. Her eyes were red as if she had just cried. His heart ached as he hurriedly asked, "Shishir, what's wrong?" Fang Shishir raised her head and looked at him pitifully. Suddenly, she threw herself into his embrace and sobbed, "Woo woo woo, it's all my fault. I've caused you to be wronged." "What's going on?" "I wasn't wronged." "Isn't that called being wronged? Teacher Wu came to your class to denounce you. She even scolded you like that. She really went too far." Tang Zheng patted her back and said, "For you, that little bit of grievance is nothing. Don't be sad. It's all in the past. Don't mention it again. I really like you, but she said that to you. I never thought that she was that kind of person." Fang Shishir said with grievance. All right. Let's not talk about her anymore. It's so disappointing." Tang Zheng held her hand. "Come, give me a smile. You look the best when you smile. When you cry, you look like a big tabby cat." Fang Shishir pouted and smiled through her tears. "You're the big tabby cat. Let's go. Look, there are so many people looking at us. Their eyeballs are about to fall out." Fang Shishir lowered her head in embarrassment and allowed him to pull her out of the school. "Where are we going to study?" Tang Zheng asked. Fang Shishir rolled her eyes and said, "Come with me. I'll take you to a place." "Where are we going?" "So mysterious. Where's the surprise you were talking about?" "It's a secret. You'll know when the time comes." Fang Shishir pulled him onto a bus. The bus headed towards the city center. On the bus, there were many people secretly looking at her. She shyly hid in Tang Zheng's embrace and whispered, "Why are they looking at me?" "Because you're the prettiest. Everyone else can't compare to you." "Could it be that no one looked at you when you took the bus before?" This is my first time taking the bus." Tang Zheng was speechless. She was a proud daughter of the heavens. She had a car to pick her up whenever she went out. She really didn't have this kind of ordinary life experience. Actually, this is pretty good. It's much livelier than sitting alone. "We've arrived at the People's Hospital." The radio reminded them. "Aya, we're here. Get off." Fang Shishir hurriedly pulled him out of the bus and strode towards the hospital. Tang Zheng was startled. Grandpa was in the hospital. Why did she bring him here? "Shishir, do you have relatives in the hospital?" Tang Zheng asked curiously. Fang Shishir answered without turning her head. "Who is it?" "You'll know when we get there. Let's go buy something first." The two of them arrived at the fruit shop and bought a fruit basket. Fang Shishir carried it and Tang Zheng hurriedly said that he would carry it, but she stubbornly refused. She carried the basket into the hospital and went upstairs. Tang Zheng was full of suspicion. He didn't know what she was up to. Ding! The elevator door opened. "We're here. Your relatives live on this floor?" Tang Zheng was surprised. This was the floor where Grandpa lived. Fang Shishir was like a little spy who would rather die than submit. She didn't say anything and pulled him down one by one according to the room number. Finally, they stopped in front of a room. Tang Zheng looked at the room number and his eyes widened. Wasn't this Grandpa's ward? Fang Shishir turned to look at him and said with red eyes, "Why didn't you tell me that Grandpa was sick?" "If I didn't know from Feng Yong, would still be in the dark." Tang Zheng was startled. He stammered, not knowing how to explain. "Humph, this is the first time I'll forgive you. Don't do it again, okay?" Tang Zheng nodded. "Let's go and see Grandpa." Pushing open the door, Tang Dahai was shocked to see his grandson and a little girl who looked like she was carved from jade walk in. "Grandpa, this is my classmate Fang Shishir. She found out that you were sick, so she came to see you." Tang Jing didn't dare introduce her as his girlfriend and only said that she was a classmate. "Grandpa, hello. I'm really sorry that I only came to see you now." "Grandpa, how are you feeling right now?" Fang Shishir cutely asked. Tang Dahai had seen Feng Yong and Yi Dingdang, so he wasn't surprised that Tang Zheng had a pretty classmate. Seeing that the little girl was so cute and so concerned about him, his face bloomed into a smile. He continuously nodded and said, "I'm fine. It's just that little Zheng is making a big fuss over nothing. Grandpa, if you're sick then you need to be treated. You can't be careless. But I see that Grandpa doesn't have any big problems. You should be able to leave the hospital soon." "Hee hee, little girl, you really know how to talk. Little Zheng is lucky to have good classmates like you. You're so busy with your studies yet you still came to see me. Moreover, you even bought things. It's such a waste." "It's not a waste. This is what I should do. Little Zheng, what are you doing in a daze? Hurry up and wash the fruits to serve the guests," Tang Dahai urged. Tang Zheng bitterly smiled and took a few apples to wash. When he came back, he found Tang Dahai laughing. He didn't know what Fang Shishir said to make him laugh. "Grandpa, I'll peel an apple for you." "How can I let you do it?" "Let little Zheng do it." "How can he be so clumsy?" "I'll do it." Fang Shishir unquestionably took the apple and fruit knife. Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "How am I clumsy? I'm much more nimble than this big miss." "Grandpa, eat an apple." Fang Shishir finished peeling the apple and handed it to Tang Dahai. Tang Dahai was so happy that flowers bloomed. The three people were happy and harmonious. After chatting for a while, Tang Zheng and Fang Shishir left the room. "Okay, let's go study now," Fang Shishir happily said. "Where are we going to study?" "Of course we're going to the hospital. Grandpa needs to be taken care of so he can't go too far. Look at the stairs. There's plenty of light and we can sit down. It's killing two birds with one stone," Fang Shishir said. "Stairs? Let's go. Let's not waste time." Fang Shishir pulled him to the staircase and sat down with a napkin on the floor. She took out a book and began to revise. "Today, we will first review mathematics. This is the mock exam paper from last time. Let's look at it again." She knew that Tang Zheng's head hurt when he thought, so she decided to keep doing questions to consolidate his knowledge and deepen his memory. This way, there might be a way to overcome his difficulties. "This test paper has already been done. It's boring," Tang Zheng said. "Since it has already been done, let's review it again to deepen your memory. The next time you encounter similar questions, it will be easier," Fang Shishir patiently explained. "Okay, I'll do it again." Tang Zheng couldn't argue with her and began to do the questions. The 150 points math test paper only took him 40 minutes to finish. Fang Shishir was stunned as she watched him answer the questions quickly. How are you so fast?" Fang Shishir still remembered that last time he only scored 20 points on the math test. This time, he actually did it so quickly and all the answers were correct. It was incredible. Tang Zheng smiled proudly. Ever since he started to cultivate, he found that his thinking ability and memory had become stronger. He was at least 30% faster than before. "Let me tell you a piece of good news. I'm cured," Tang Zheng said. Chapter 33. Tang Zheng was stunned. That soft and clear feeling made his heart tremble. He turned his head to look at her but saw her quickly turn her head away. Her face was red all the way to her neck. "This is your surprise?" Tang Jing asked. Fang Shishir secretly glanced at him and said, "You're not allowed to say it. Since you've already recovered, then I won't help you study." After saying this, she wanted to run away. How could Tang Jing let her do as she wished? He grabbed her hand and pulled her back into his embrace. "What are you doing?" She nestled in his embrace and timidly asked like a helpless kitten. "What do you think I'm doing?" Tang Jing said with an evil smile. Fang Shishir's heart was beating wildly. She didn't dare look at him. She quickly lowered her head and said, "Bad guy, you're not allowed to do bad things. Since you called me a bad guy, then if I don't do bad things, wouldn't I be wronged to death?" Smooth talker. Fang Shishir was so embarrassed that she couldn't show her face. However, she faintly looked forward to what was about to happen. Tang Zhang's emotions surged as he lifted her chin. His pair of watery eyes were filled with affection. Those delicate lips were like the world's most alluring delicacy, attracting him to taste them. He slowly lowered his head. Fang Shishir's entire body tensed up. Her hands were tightly clenched together. Her breathing became rapid and her heart was beating fast. Looking at the face that was getting closer and closer, she slowly closed her eyes and raised her neck. This second seemed to be infinitely long. Time seemed to have stopped and the two could hear each other's heartbeat. Dong dong dong. The sound of footsteps suddenly rang out. Someone was coming. Tang Zheng was shocked. Fang Shishir was like a frightened kitten. She immediately jumped out of his embrace. Her face was red as she quickly ran away. "Tang Zheng, today's revision ends here. See you tomorrow." Tang Zheng angrily looked at the doctor coming up the stairs. He wanted to kick him down. He sighed in disappointment but didn't return to the ward. Instead, he walked out of the hospital and quickly disappeared into the night. Deng Maokai staggered out of the restaurant with a flushed face and a leather bag in his hand. The bag was filled with $100 bills. As the night breeze blew, his drunkenness sobered up a bit and he whistled complacently. "Hee hee, I've gained quite a lot tonight. If I don't bleed, who the F***ck will do it for you?" In this society, not only do you need money, you also need power to be the boss. Although the central government was fighting corruption with great fanfare, the abuse of power for personal gain was still omnipresent and rooted in every corner of the motherland. Deng Maokai suddenly thought of Qiao Fei and his expression darkened. "Son of a bitch, the richer you are, the more stingy you are. You actually didn't give me the money you promised me. Relying on the fact that I am a big boss, you don't put me in your eyes. There will be a day when you will beg me again. At that time, I will earn it back with interest." He got into the police car and prepared to drive home. Although the car belonged to the police, he had been using it for his personal use for a long time, so no one dared to complain. But when he thought about how he would have to face the old hag at home, he lost interest. "It's been a long time since I went to that little goblin's place. Tonight I will go and vent my anger." The police car went straight to an apartment in the city. He stopped the car and walked up the stairs and into a room. Tang Zheng had been following him, but facing the closed door, he was in a dilemma. This time he was able to grasp Deng Maocai's whereabouts because of Lin Hu's help. Tang Zheng followed Deng Maokai because he wanted to find the person behind the scenes who framed him. But if he openly questioned him, he would definitely not say anything even if he was beaten to death. So he could only find evidence of Deng Maocai's crime and use it as a threat to force him to commit the crime. This was not Deng Maocai's home. He did not go home in the middle of the night and came here instead. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and Tang Zheng would not let it go. "It's just a door. Don't think it can stop me." Tang Zheng came to the roof and looked down. Deng Maokai had entered the 15th floor. This building had 25 floors. Tang Zheng had to go down 10 floors to enter. "Damn it, I can only fight." He grabbed the railing and jumped off the roof. The night wind was blowing and his neck was cold, but he knew that he couldn't be afraid. He carefully climbed to the 25th floor. Fortunately, it was night, and no one saw a Spider-Man here. He grabbed the window of the 25th floor and did not dare to make any big movements. He was afraid that the residents inside would find him. He went down from the window one floor after another. There were several times when he was almost discovered by the residents. There was even one time when he almost slipped and almost fell down. In short, he narrowly reached his destination. He gently landed on the window sill of the 15th floor and looked inside. He saw a big bed being tossed by waves. Two naked bodies were entangled together, putting on a vivid erotic scene. The woman was quite beautiful, but it was difficult to hide her prostitute smell. Deng Maokai was lying on top of her and was trying his best to thrust. Tang Jing quickly took out his camera to take pictures. He bought this camera in advance to take evidence of Deng Maocai's corruption. It came in handy on the first day. After taking enough pictures, Tang Jing did not want to continue to enjoy this erotic scene. Otherwise, he would suffocate to death. He pushed open the window and walked in. Deng Maokai heard the sound and thought it was the sound of the wind. He subconsciously looked at the window sill and saw a person coming in. He was so scared that his little brother went soft. The woman suddenly lost her feeling and complained that he was soft. She turned her head and saw Tang Jing. She was so scared that she screamed. "Ah, who are you?" The woman grabbed the quilt and covered her body. She stared at Tang Jing in horror. Deng Maokai was also sweating. He did not figure out who the other party was. Could it be a thief? Damn it, a little thief actually dared to steal from me. He was really looking for death. "Who are you?" Deng Maokai asked in a majestic voice. Tang Jing walked under the light and jokingly said, "Chief Deng, you don't recognize me? Your memory is too bad." "It's you?" Deng Maokai finally saw Tang Jing clearly. He could not help but cry out in alarm. His heart became nervous. If it was an ordinary thief, he was confident that he could deal with it. But the other party was clearly targeting him. This was not so easy to let go. "What do you want to do?" "Of course I want to continue what I didn't finish that day. Let me ask you, who is the real culprit behind this?" Tang Jing's face sank as he sternly asked. "So you are still entangled with this question?" Deng Maokai suddenly realized. But looking at the unarmed Tang Jing, he was not afraid. The other party was just a student. Deng Maokai swaggered and wrapped himself in a bath towel and jokingly said, "Why should I tell you? This camera contains the good things you just did. I believe some people will be interested." Tang Jing waved the camera and said. When the woman heard this, she turned pale with fright and cried out, "My dear, hurry up and snatch the camera. You must not let it fall into the hands of others." "Shut up, I know." Deng Maokai impatiently roared. Of course, he was very clear about the power of these photos. As long as these photos were leaked out, then he would be done for. This woman was not his wife, but a Lu Feng who was swept away during an anti-prostitution operation. He saw that she was pretty and secretly let her go. However, every once in a while, he would come back to play with her for free. The woman was scared to the point of shrinking into the bed. Deng Maocai's face was gloomy as he asked, "You want to use this to threaten me? Is it not enough? If it was someone else, then maybe it would succeed. But you, humph, brat, a student who hasn't even grown hair yet dares to threaten me. See if I don't kill you." Deng Maokai jumped in front of Tang Jing and threw a punch at him. Although all these years his body was hollowed out by wine and women, but after all his foundation was not bad. He was more powerful than the average person. Deng Maokai was confident that dealing with Tang Jing would be a piece of cake. But he suddenly found that his punch was firmly held by the opponent, making him unable to move. "Let go!" he roared. Tang Jing coldly looked at him and said, "It seems that you are stubborn. Since that is the case, then I will wake you up." Tang Jing grabbed his neck and pushed half of his body out of the window. The night wind blew, making him want to scream in fear. But Tang Jing immediately used a towel to block his mouth, making him unable to scream. Deng Maocai's body went soft. He kept twisting and resisting but was indifferent. This was the 15th floor. He was very clear about the consequences of falling down. If you don't say it, then I will throw you down now. No one will know that I did it. What do you think? Woo woo woo. Deng Maocai hurriedly shook his head. He was so scared that his face was ashen. But your bones are hard and you won't say who is the mastermind. What do you think I can do? At worst, I will go and investigate. Tang Zheng said in a relaxed manner. Deng Maocai hurriedly shook his head as if to say no. Seeing that he was scared out of his wits, Tang Zheng pulled him back. His legs went soft and he directly knelt on the ground. Then you tell me, who is he? Deng Maocai lowered his head. His eyes kept changing as he pondered over why he failed. Wasn't this little brat a student? How could his skills be so good? Moreover, his strength was so great. Grabbing him was like grabbing a little chicken. If I say, can you return the picture to me? Deng Maocai asked in fear. You don't have the qualifications to talk about conditions. Tang Zheng coldly said. Qiao Fei. Deng Maocai hesitated for a moment but still gave up the mastermind. Qiao Fei, you won't even give me money. You want me to keep your secret? Dream on. So it was him. Tang Zheng's eyes flashed with killing intent. Qiao Fei, there was a road to heaven but you didn't take it. There was no door to hell but you barged in. This time, no matter what, I will not let you go. Can you give me the picture? Deng Maocai nervously asked. Chapter 34. Early in the morning, Tang Jing saw Qiao Fei get out of his luxurious car with his head held high as if he was the moon surrounded by stars. Tang Jing gnashed his teeth in hatred but he did not directly rush up to make a move as that would only be considered a boorish fellow. If he wanted revenge then he would have to make Qiao Fei fall from his high and mighty position into the abyss. Just beating him up would be letting him off easy. What fatal weakness does Qiao Fei have? Qiao Fei was one of the most favored students in the eyes of the teachers. Not only was his grades outstanding, he was also from a wealthy family. His father was even one of the school's board of directors. Completely defeating him would not be easy. I cannot be too hasty. I have to do it step by step. My top priority is to raise my cultivation and save my grandfather. Then I will let Qiao Fei live happily for a few more days. Tang Jing turned around to welcome Fang Shishir who was walking over. Her beautiful face was slightly red as she sweetly smiled, making people involuntarily think of the romantic scene from last night. The two of them walked hand in hand into the school grounds. This scene was coincidentally seen by Qiao Fei. He was furious and wanted nothing more than to go up and break them apart but he knew that it would be useless. Qiao Fei, isn't this warm and romantic scene very interesting? Takashi walked over and coldly asked. Qiao Fei's eyes flashed with anger as he said, Takashi, what are you talking about? Don't think that just because he is with Fang Shishir, you can sit back and relax. I heard that Yi Dingdang treats him much better than you. Takashi coldly snorted, Dingdang will one day know how good I am. Stop comforting yourself. I told you to think of a way to deal with him. Have you thought of a way? Tang Zheng's prestige in Class 7 is rising day by day. How can I think of a way to deal with him? If I had a way, I would chop him into pieces. Takashi still remembered the scene where Tang Zheng made a fool of him in public. He hated him to the bone, but today's Class 7 was no longer the Class 7 of the past. Many people were no longer afraid of him. This made him very angry, but there was nothing he could do. The most fundamental reason for all of this was Tang Zheng. Only by driving away Tang Zheng would he be able to restore his former prestige. Chop him up? Qiao Fei's eyes flashed as he muttered, that's a good idea. Takashi felt a chill run down his spine. He couldn't help but shudder as he said, "You said, kill him?" As he spoke, he made a throat-slitting gesture. Xiao Fei looked at the direction in which Tang Zheng and Feng Shishir disappeared, smiling without saying anything. "Tang Zheng, I'm really sorry, but I have to go home first after school today. My mom wants me to go home for dinner, so I can't study with you today." Feng Shishir said reluctantly at the door of Class 1. "No problem, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future." Thank you. You're really good. Be good and I'll reward you next time." Feng Shishir said as she bounced into the classroom. Tang Zheng couldn't help but think of last night's kiss. His heart surged. "Yo, look at how happy you are. You're all smiles. Don't tell me you did something bad." As soon as Tang Zheng sat down, Yi Dingdang couldn't help but make fun of him. Tang Zheng smiled embarrassedly and said, No, you must be seeing things. Tang Zheng, don't blame me for pouring cold water on you. The Feng family is not an ordinary family. You and Feng Shishir will not have a smooth sailing life. Yi Dingdang said. Without experiencing the rain, how can you see the rainbow? I'm not afraid of any difficulties. Tang Zheng said confidently. Yes, boss, I support you. Feng Yong said, our boss is also not an ordinary person. His future achievements will definitely be greater than the Feng family. This is the Feng family's gain. You really have a lot of confidence in him. Of course, he's my boss. Of course I have confidence in him. How can I, Feng Yong's boss, be ordinary? Feng Yong said with pride, but if the Feng family doesn't have good taste, you can also pursue my boss, Sister Dingdang. I think the two of you are a perfect match. Fatty Feng, are you asking for a beating? Yi Dingdang's almond eyes widened as she raised her hand to hit him. Feng Yong chuckled and slipped away like a loach. Tang Zheng said awkwardly, don't listen to his nonsense. Of course I won't listen to his nonsense. Me and you? You're not as strong as me. Why would I look for you? The man that I, Yi Dingdang, want to find is an indomitable man. How can his martial arts be worse than mine? Yi Dingdang said confidently. Tang Zheng, my dad asked if you have time tonight. He wants to invite you to my house for dinner. Yi Dingdang said. Invite me to dinner? What's the matter? He said he has something to discuss with you. I don't know what it is, but he's being so mysterious. So annoying. Okay. Tang Zheng agreed. Towards Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang, he didn't have any bad feelings. Moreover, last time Feng Xinyang went to the police station to save him. Then after school we'll go together. Feng Xinyang will come to pick us up. Class 7's learning atmosphere was very good. It surprised the teachers who were in class. They thought that they came to the wrong class. The mischievous students became diligent students. This news quickly spread throughout the school. Many people were puzzled. Did the sun rise from the west? But many people also secretly cursed. This was definitely a show. In a few days Class 7 will definitely return to its original state. After all, it's easy to change mountains and rivers but hard to change a person's nature. After school Tang Zheng and Feng Shishir walked out of the school gates. Feng Xinyang's car had not yet arrived but another car came to a sudden stop in front of Tang Zheng. A black man walked out of the car and arrogantly said, Tang Zheng, our madam invites you. Who is your madam? You'll know when you get in. Tang Zheng wrinkled his eyebrows and said, I don't know any madam. I won't get in the car. Yi Dingdang's beautiful eyes turned as if she was thinking of something. Even if you don't want to, you still have to go. The big man said unquestionably. He reached out to grab Tang Zheng's arm. Tang Zheng instinctively stepped forward and pushed his shoulder against the other's chest. The big man quickly retreated 2 steps and almost hit the car door. His expression suddenly changed. I already said that I don't know any madam. Don't provoke me. Tang Zheng unhappily said. The other party's arrogant attitude made him feel very unhappy. You are Tang Zheng? You actually have some guts. The back door of the car suddenly opened and a voice floated out. Tang Zheng finally clearly saw the person inside. It was a graceful and luxurious woman. It could be seen that when she was young, she was definitely a great beauty. Tang Zheng's heart moved as he guessed the other party's identity. This was because her eyebrows were somewhat similar to Fang Shishi's. You are Shishi's mother? She was Fang Shishi's mother, Shi Mengqin. Shi Mengqin expressionlessly nodded her head and directly walked out of the car. Her aura was full as she went straight to the point and said, Tang Zheng, I came today to talk to you about the matter between you and my daughter. Tang Zheng had a bad premonition, but he still maintained the etiquette of a junior and nodded his head. Auntie, please speak. Don't call me auntie. I am not that close to you. Shi Mengqin expressionlessly said coldly. Tang Zheng awkwardly did not know how to reply. I will make this short. In the future, you will stay away from Shishi. You and her are not people of the same world. Do you understand? Shi Mengqin resolutely and decisively said without leaving any face. Tang Zheng was suddenly startled. He did not think that the other party would come to break up an affectionate couple. He clenched his teeth and did not say a word. You are not worthy of my daughter. Seeing Tang Zheng's clearly unconvinced face, Shi Mengqin continued to speak. Are you finished speaking? Tang Zheng suppressed his anger and asked. Do you still want to continue pestering my daughter? Shi Mengqin's two elegant eyebrows deeply wrinkled. I know that you are the kind of person who wholeheartedly wants to climb up the social ladder and use this opportunity to soar into the heavens. Let me tell you, you are wrong. The Fang family's doorstep is not that easy to enter. This is purely an unrealistic and extravagant hope that will absolutely not succeed. This is a matter between me and Shishi. Other people have no right to decide. Tang Zheng expressionlessly glanced at her and added, even if you are her mother, you still cannot. Obstinate and unrepentant. Hang, it seems that you wholeheartedly want to climb up the social ladder of our Fang family. At such a young age, you already have such a scheming heart. It is simply frightening. However, the one you are facing is me, so how can I let you succeed? Shi Mengqin arrogantly said. Yo, the Fang family is so powerful. Just hearing it is enough to scare a person to death. Suddenly, another woman's voice rang out. They saw Feng Xinyang leisurely walk over. Just how powerful is the Fang family? Can they turn their hands over and create clouds and rain with a flip of their hands? How come I have never heard of the Fang family having this ability? Who are you? Shi Mengqin's eyes slightly narrowed as she stared at Feng Xinyang. Shi Mengqin, after all, came from a large family and her vision was not ordinary. From Feng Xinyang's words and actions, she could tell that the other party was not an ordinary person. Who I am is not important. What is important is that the Fang family is not as powerful as you say and is also not as unattainable as you say. Feng Xinyang jokingly said. What do you know? Shi Mengqin disdainfully said, how can you see through the Fang family's strength? Feng Xinyang shook her head and said, a true large family does not need to flaunt nor do they need to proclaim themselves. The Fang family's business has been doing well these past few years, but their foundation is still lacking. This can be seen from you, the mistress of the family. This is truly disappointing. Shi Mengqin's heart tightened. Although the other party was not ordinary, she was still unable to swallow this anger. Just as she was about to retort, she heard Feng Xinyang say, you feel that little handsome brother Tang Zheng is taking advantage of your daughter, but I do not feel this way. There are some people's potential that a vulgar person like you cannot see through. Your vision is too shallow. Saying this, her gaze fell on Tang Zheng's body as she beamed and asked, little handsome brother, since other people do not like you, then you should not join in the fun. Why don't you and our families ding-dang be together? I feel that the two of you are a match made in heaven. What do you think? Feng Xinyang's face was deadpan and it was clear that she was not joking. Even Shi Mengqin was stunned for a moment before she disdainfully laughed. you still dare to say that other people are short-sighted. You really are far-sighted. Good, if you want to push your daughter into the fire pit, then go ahead. I will not interfere in your good things. Chapter 35. Tang Zheng was flabbergasted as he suspected that he was hallucinating. Looking at the serious Feng Xinyang, he confirmed that she was not joking. Yi Dingdang did not suspect that she was hallucinating because she knew that Feng Xinyang would say such words. She simply wanted to find a hole to hide in as she angrily said, "Feng Xinyang, what nonsense are you spouting?" "Who's spouting nonsense? I'm speaking the truth. Little handsome brother, what do you think of my proposal? Look at our family's ding-dang, you want a face, you have a face, you want breasts, in a few years you will naturally have them. Moreover, this mother-in-law of mine is very reasonable and will definitely not make things difficult for you." Feng Xinyang was like a human trafficker trying to trick a child as she enticed. Tang Zheng did not know whether to laugh or cry as he was completely speechless. "You are that Feng Xinyang?" Shi Mengqin finally regained her senses as she looked at Feng Xinyang with mixed feelings. "Is there a second Feng Xinyang in ordinary Balance City?" Feng Xinyang asked. Shi Mengqin was speechless, but her heart was in turmoil. She had heard of Feng Xinyang's name before and it was simply too big. Especially her husband's family, the Ye family, they were not a family that ordinary people could provoke. The Feng family could not even withstand a single blow from the Ye family. Moreover, there were rumors that Feng Xinyang was temperamental and loved to cause trouble for no reason. If she were to find a reason, she would definitely not be able to bear the consequences. She felt that this was not a good place to stay and immediately wanted to leave in a car. However, Feng Xinyang's body flashed and blocked the car door as she said, "Yo, you want to leave so quickly? This matter still hasn't been explained clearly. What do you want to do?" Shi Mengqin guiltily asked. "Didn't you not want Tang Zheng as your son-in-law?" "I think he is very good, so I want him to be my son-in-law. In the future, don't bother him anymore, otherwise I will be very angry, do you understand?" Feng Xinyang said while beaming. However, Shi Mengqin felt a chill in her heart. It was rumored that the angrier Feng Xinyang was, the happier she would laugh. This was the most dangerous moment, so no matter who it was best to retreat. Otherwise, if they went to see the King of Hell, they would not even know how they died. Shi Mengqin decided to first retreat and hurriedly said, "If you like him as your son-in-law, I have no objections. As long as he doesn't bother my daughter in the future, it's fine. Hee, don't worry. He's my son-in-law. Of course, he won't pester your daughter. However, my son-in-law is so outstanding. You have to take good care of your daughter and don't pester him." "No." Tang Zheng finally found a chance to speak. "Why not?" Feng Xinyang asked. "If you have any opinions, you can raise them. I am a very open-minded mother-in-law." Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he had to clarify. Otherwise, the waters would only get muddier. "Auntie Feng, I am currently dating Feng Shishir." "I know, but her mother doesn't agree, so let's just forget about it. Look at how good my family's ding-dang is. She isn't any worse than that girl surnamed Feng." Feng Xinyang still did not forget to promote her daughter. Yi Dingdang wished she could find a hole to hide in. With such a weird mother, she would be angered to the point of losing 10 years of her life. But this matter cannot be forced. Moreover, the matter between me and Shishir is between the two of us. No one else should even think of interfering. Tang Zheng resolutely said. Shi Mengqin did not expect Tang Zheng to be so resolute. She hatefully glared at him, but Tang Zheng remained unmoved. "Ai, you really are a foolish child. She doesn't even like you. Do you know how hard it will be in the future? Mothers-in-law are very terrifying creatures. I am not afraid. Since I have chosen this path, no matter how bitter it is, I will continue to walk it. You have spirit." Feng Xinyang gave him a thumbs up. Nowadays, it is becoming harder and harder to find a little handsome boy with spirit. I am also liking you more and more. No, I cannot give you to others. For the sake of my daughter's happiness, I definitely cannot let such a good son-in-law like you slip away. This person from the Fong family, what do you want me to do so that you will agree to let your daughter cut off all contact with him? I can't wait for them to immediately cut off all contact. Shi Mengqin said. Although she did not understand why Feng Xinyang favored Tang Zheng so much, she did not have the slightest good impression of him. She also did not want to wade into this muddy water with the Ye family. Huh, did you hear that? So, little handsome boy, don't hesitate anymore. You should be together with my family's ding-dang. You will definitely be happy and filled with children and grandchildren. Feng Xinyang smiled like a flower. Feng Xinyang, if you keep talking then I will definitely ignore you in the future. Yi Dingdang finally could not bear it any longer and exploded. Okay, I won't say any more. You damn girl really are an idiot. This old lady is fighting for your happiness yet you still don't know what's good for you. Forget it, I will not interfere with the matters of the younger generation. Hey, you can leave. Shi Mengqin let out a big breath of relief and hurriedly got on the car. She could not help but turn around to look at Tang Zheng. She looked left and right but did not see anything special about him. However, she did not plan on letting it go. She thought that it was fortunate that Wu Cuihong had informed her. In the future, she must keep a close eye on him and not give this little brat any chance to take advantage of her. Little handsome boy, don't worry about these people. Come, let's go to my house to eat. Today I was the one who cooked and made a table full of delicious food. Feng Xinyang said enthusiastically. Feng Xinyang, you cooked today? Yi Dingdang seemed to have heard something terrifying. Of course, my culinary skills are at the master level. Then I won't eat. It's already good enough that the food you make does not poison people to death. You actually dared to make it for Tang Zheng to eat. Do you want to kill him? Tang Zheng awkwardly said, Yi Dingdang, Auntie's culinary skills are not as exaggerated as you say. You don't need to be an alarmist. Right. It is still little handsome boy who has experience. Don't listen to this damn girl's nonsense. She only thinks about slandering me all day. Feng Xinyang said while beaming. Hung, a dog biting Lu Dongbin. You don't know how to appreciate good intentions. Be careful not to eat you to death. Yi Dingdang said without any good feelings. Feng Xinyang rolled her eyes and said, Little handsome boy, look at how much my family's ding-dang cares about you. For you, she did not hesitate to treat me like this. This is what a good wife and loving mother should be like in the future. I will reconsider my previous proposal. Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. Feng Xinyang. Yi Dingdang was on the verge of exploding. Okay, I won't say any more. I'll drive. Don't make a fuss and disturb me. I need to focus on driving. The car quickly arrived at the Ye family. Tang Zheng still felt shocked even though it was his second time here. He did not know what the Ye family did for them to have such a large family business. Little Tang, you've come. Yi Tianlei beamed as he greeted Tang Zheng. He was not as serious as the first time and was more kind. Uncle Yi, hello. No need to be so reserved. Today is a family banquet. Everyone should eat together and chat. How is your grandfather right now? He is still in the hospital. If you need anything, just tell me. I know. Thank you. Tang Zheng secretly sighed. If you really could help, then I would have come to you. The key is that no one else can do anything. I can only refine the life-continuing pill to save my grandfather's life. Come, let's eat. Let's eat first and then talk. Feng Xinyang called everyone to the dining room. There was a very sumptuous meal on the table. Yi Dingdang let out a sigh of relief and said, Feng Xinyang, so you were lying to me. You didn't make the food. Now I am relieved. Who said I didn't make it? Feng Xinyang unhappily said. If you can make such a delicious meal, then the sun will rise from the west. Yi Dingdang, you can continue to slander me. Okay, let's eat. This table of food really does have your mother's contribution. She helped. Now you know. Feng Xinyang proudly said. Yi Dingdang stuck out her tongue and muttered, I told you it wasn't done by you. The Ya family basically didn't talk much during the meal. Everyone ate in silence. Tang Jing also buried his head in eating. Feng Xinyang occasionally gave Tang Jing some food. After the meal, the four people sat together and drank tea. Yi Dingdang personally brewed the tea. Her skills were excellent, like moving clouds and flowing water. At this moment, her body's liveliness was completely restrained. She became as quiet as an ancient well without ripples. Tang Zheng was secretly astonished. He didn't think that Yi Dingdang would have such a side to her. Yi Tianlei seemed to see his doubts and explained, Dingdang's temperament has been very active since she was young. She is just like a boy. But she is still a girl, so I had her practice the tea ceremony since she was young. Only after a while will she calm down and become like a girl. Dad, how can you speak ill of your daughter like that? Yi Dingdang coquettishly said. Yi Tianlei smiled but didn't say a word. Your dad is speaking the truth. You are always so crazy. How are you like a girl? Feng Xinyang said. Feng Xinyang, if you slander me again, I won't give you tea anymore. Okay, I won't say any more. Drink tea, drink tea. Feng Xinyang said with a smile. Seeing this family's unique way of interacting, Tang Zheng's heart was especially calm. But he was also extremely envious. Since he was young, he and his grandfather relied on each other for survival. He didn't lack family love, but this kind of parental love was something he could only look at but not obtain. He often thought about why his parents were so heartless to abandon him. If he didn't meet his grandfather, he probably would have already gone to see the King of Hell. Tang Zheng, you should still remember the Battle of Changheng Mountain. That assassin died in the end. Died? Tang Zheng's heart tightened. Could it be that he was killed by the Ye family? I didn't kill him. He committed suicide. This kind of assassin already disregarded life and death. In the end, seeing that there was no hope of escaping, he severed his own meridians and died. Yi Tianlei explained. Then did you find out who he was? Tang Jing curiously asked. The other party was a 6th grade refining body expert. He was definitely not an ordinary person. Who he is not important. What's important is who is behind him. Who is it that wants to harm Dingdang? Yi Tianlei said as he glanced at Yi Dingdang. Yi Dingdang put down her teacup and said, Dad, no matter who it is, I am not afraid. Yi Tianlei nodded his head and said, I, Yi Tianlei's daughter, of course would not be afraid of these evildoers. But it is easy to dodge a spear in the open but hard to defend against a stab in the dark. This time they have failed. Maybe they will stop for a while, but I am worried that they will make a comeback. Doesn't Feng Xinyang pick me up every day? She can protect me. Feng Xinyang shook her head and said, Daughter, when you are with me, of course I can protect you. But you spend most of your time at school. I can't always be by your side. So the time you are at school is the most dangerous. Then what should I do? I can't not go to school, right? Chapter 36. Looking at the serious Yi Tianlei, Tang Zheng was certain that he was not joking. He could not help but be startled. Yi Tianlei actually wanted him to protect Yi Dingdang. Yi Dingdang acted as if she had heard the funniest joke in the world as she angrily jumped up and said, No, he is not as strong as me, how can he protect me? Dingdang, stop messing around. Yi Tianlei said in a deep voice, even though Tang Zheng's cultivation is not as good as yours, his actual combat ability is not weak. You have to remember that if it were not for him, how could you have escaped from the assassin's hands? that was only because his luck was good. Yi Dingdang was not convinced. Moreover, he is only a first-grade refining body and he wants to protect me. If he can't say it out loud, then he won't be afraid of being laughed at. Actually, I am already a second-grade refining body. Tang Jing weakly corrected her. Yi Tianlei's eyebrows raised in joy as he said, "You broke through?" "Yes, I broke through not long ago." "Amazing, congratulations." "What's so amazing about that? Even if you broke through, you are only a second-grade refining body." "I am a fourth-grade refining body," Yi Dingdang proudly said. "What do you know?" "How long has Tang Jing been practicing martial arts, and how long have you been practicing martial arts?" Feng Xinyang mercilessly attacked. Yi Dingdang was immediately speechless. According to what Tang Jing said, he had only been practicing martial arts for a few months, but in just a few months he was able to reach infinity, second-grade refining body. His potential was truly too great. It must be known that Yi Dingdang's potential was not bad, but after 10 years she was only a fourth-grade refining body. The difference between the two was like heaven and earth. Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang looked at each other, becoming even more determined to rope in Tang Jing. Feng Xinyang said, "Little handsome brother, don't listen to Dingdang's nonsense. We sincerely want you to protect Dingdang. This time the enemy is fierce, Dingdang is in danger and we have no other choice." Yi Dingdang snorted but did not dare to refute. Tang Jing pondered and looked at the angry Yi Dingdang. Even though he did not have much contact with her, he admired Yi Dingdang's true nature. If there was a bad person committing a crime in front of his eyes, he would definitely not sit and watch. "Okay, I promise you. But like Yi Dingdang said, my cultivation is not high. If the enemy is too strong, I don't have the confidence to win." "Thank you," Yi Tianlei and his wife happily said, "You don't need to belittle yourself. You have the pressure point technique which can catch the enemy off guard. We just want you to buy some time. As long as we arrive, Dingdang will not be in too much danger." Tang Jing nodded. The enemy was too strong for him to defeat the enemy. But if he could stall for time, he still had some confidence. Yi Dingdang pouted and looked at them with dissatisfaction, saying in her heart that she was so strong, why would she need others to protect her? "Tang Jing, we will not let you protect us for free. Here is the reward you deserve, 200,000. Yi Tianlei said as he took out a large bag. Tang Jing hesitated for a moment, but did not refuse as this was what he earned from his hard work. 200,000, why is it so much? Yi Dingdang was speechless. Compared to your life, is 200,000 more? Feng Xinyang unhappily asked. Yi Dingdang was speechless. Feng Xinyang secretly sighed, why is this girl so stupid sometimes? Last time when Tang Jing saved you, we did not properly thank him. This time is also equivalent to thanking him. Tang Jing, since you are already a second-grade refining body, I wonder if you would mind exchanging pointers with me? Yi Tianlei asked on a whim. Tang Jing's head moved and said, okay. Hey, Tang Jing, you are only a second-grade refining body. My father is a 9th-grade natal realm cultivator. This gap is too big, there is simply no way to compare. Yi Dingdang said in disbelief. Tang Jing nodded and said, of course I know that Uncle Yi far surpasses me. It is precisely because of this that I want to exchange pointers with him. Only by facing this kind of expert can I have more comprehension and progress. Yi Tianlei's eyes flashed with admiration. He was neither arrogant nor rash, and this unyielding spirit made others clap and praise him. Ding dang, did you hear that? In the future you must learn more from Tang Jing. Why is he able to progress so quickly? This kind of attitude is one of the reasons. Yi Dingdang stuck out her tongue, unconvinced. The martial training hall was a very spacious large room. 18 different kinds of weapons were placed all around, dazzling the eyes. Tang Jing, what kind of weapon do you need? Yi Tianlei asked. No need. Heaven Gathering Hand did not require a weapon. Good, then let's begin. You attack first. Yi Tianlei casually stood there as if the door was wide open. However, if one looked carefully, they would discover that his entire body was sealed. There was no such thing as an opening. Tang Zheng still remembered the few moves that Yi Tianlei used to deal with the assassins. Therefore, he did not decline and made the first move. With a flip of his palm, he attacked Yi Tianlei like a fierce tiger descending from the mountain. Yi Tianlei did not dodge, nor did he need to dodge. He deliberately wanted to test Tang Zheng's martial arts. He also wanted to determine which sect he was from through his moves. In an instant, the two exchanged no less than 10 moves. The heaven-gathering hand was fast and fierce, and it was as if it had interweaved into an inescapable net that enveloped Yi Tianlei. If Yi Tianlei wanted to break through, it would be extremely easy, but he did not do so. Instead, he purposely restrained his own strength and fought with Tang Zheng. The two figures moved about, attacking and dodging incessantly. They were like two dancing butterflies, but they were filled with unknown danger. Feng Ximyang's eyes were full of splendor. She praised, "This little handsome brother knows when to advance and retreat." Moreover, this set of martial arts is both offensive and defensive. It is the style of a famous sect. Yi Dingdang also withdrew her contempt. This was the second time that she saw Tang Zheng use his full strength. It was clearly more powerful than the last time. How did he train? Why does he not look like a second-grade refining body cultivator? Yi Dingdang could not help but exclaim. This is the mystery of martial arts. Although he is only a second-grade refining body cultivator, because of the profound martial arts he has learned, he is more powerful than the average second-grade refining body cultivator. He even has the strength of a third-grade refining body cultivator. Feng Ximyang explained. The battle between the two had already reached its climax. Tang Zheng's true qi was rapidly circulating. His pores opened and steam rose from the top of his head. This battle was to his heart's content. It allowed him to display all the skills that he had learned so far. Suddenly, he found an opportunity. He stepped forward and struck out. His palm was like a cannonball shooting towards Yi Tianlei. His other hand was hidden in his body. When he got close to his opponent, he struck out like lightning. Pressure point technique. He finally used the pressure point technique. His hand accurately swept across Yi Tianlei's body. The pressure point was successfully sealed. However, he did not have time to be happy. A majestic force bounced back and sent his arm flying high. At the same time, Yi Tianlei's fist arrived in front of him. The strong wind blew against his face, causing him to feel a piercing pain. It was as if a knife had sliced his face. The fist came to an abrupt stop. Yi Tianlei stopped. Tang Zheng was still defeated. "Wah, Dad, you won. You are too strong." Yi Dingdang cheered as she ran over. Tang Zheng cupped his hands and said, "Uncle Yi purposely restrained his power. I am still not your opponent." Yi Tianlei looked at him with a complicated expression. After a while, he gently shook his head and said, "You have already done very well. Do you know? Just now when you sealed my pressure point, I was actually unable to move for a moment. It was only after my internal energy broke through my pressure point that I was able to counterattack." "What?" Feng Ximyang could not help but cry out in alarm. "Tianlei, you are a 9th-grade natal stage cultivator. His pressure point technique was actually effective against you?" "That's right. That's why his internal energy is so mysterious. He must have a famous master. If there is a chance, I really want to meet your master and see what kind of expert he is." Tang Zheng embarrassedly said, "Uncle Yi overpraises me. If it were not for you being so magnanimous, my insignificant skills would not have been enough. How could I have held on for so long? No, as long as you continue to work hard, I have a premonition that your achievements will be limitless. I believe that you will walk even further than me. You will break through the natal stage and reach the natal stage. You will become a true expert." Natal stage? That's right. The natal stage, and the natal stage is a watershed. Only when a martial artist reaches the natal stage can they enter a whole new world. There will be another wonderful situation. However, even though I have worked hard these past few years, I have only been lingering at this threshold. It has always been difficult to cross this threshold. Yi Tianlei said with incomparable regret. Little brat, Yi Tianlei's martial arts have already accumulated to a peak. However, one of his meridians is blocked. It should be because he was previously injured that he was unable to break through. Tian Chanzi suddenly said. Do you have a way? Yes. What way? You and I will work together and use our true qi to help him open up his meridians. In less than 10 days, he will be able to reach the natal stage. Tang Zheng's heart moved as he asked, Uncle Yi, were you previously seriously injured? Yi Tianlei's eyebrows moved as he curiously asked, how did you know? Yi Dingdang curled her lips and said, it must be a blind guess. Feng Ximiang glanced at her and then stared at Tang Zheng. Yi Tianlei's injury was not known to many people. How could Tang Zheng guess so accurately? Tang Zheng thought for a moment and said, when we were comparing notes, some of Uncle Ye's moves had a stagnant feeling. It gave me the feeling that your internal strength was blocked. That's why I asked. Yi Tianlei and Feng Ximiang looked at each other, unable to hide the shock in their hearts. Just by comparing notes, he was able to see so many problems. This meant that his vision was definitely at the level of a master. However, they did not know that Tang Zheng had a cultivator's soul in his head. Tang Zheng, before I said that you might surpass me. Now I dare to say that in the future, your cultivation will definitely surpass mine. Yi Tianlei solemnly said. Yi Dingdang was dumbstruck. She knew that her father rarely praised people like this. Even she had never received this kind of affirmation. She could not help but feel jealous of Tang Zheng. Was he really that powerful? No matter how she looked at it, it did not seem like it. Tang Zheng shamefully shook his head and said, Uncle Yi is too kind. Tian Chanzi snorted and said, of course you will surpass him. If you can't even surpass him, then I'll just kill myself. Tang Zheng was speechless. Tian Chanzi really had a lot of confidence in him. Little handsome brother, since you can see that Heavenly Thunder's internal strength is blocked, I wonder if you have a way to solve it? Feng Ximiang probingly asked. In fact, even she felt that it was ridiculous to ask a junior this question. It was obviously impossible. Chapter 37. Tang Zheng spoke the truth, but it was like thunder in the three people's ears. Yi Tianlei became excited and asked with a trembling voice, Tang Zheng, do you really have a way? Tang Zheng, you can't speak nonsense. Yi Dingdang said in disbelief. Her father's illness had been treated by countless famous doctors, but none of them had a way. How could he have a way? She subconsciously felt that Tang Zheng was boasting again and couldn't help but feel a bit unhappy. After all, this matter was very important. What was the point of bragging? Tang Zheng nodded with a serious face and said, of course I'm not talking nonsense. It's just that it will take a bit of time to completely unblock the meridians. No problem. As long as the meridians can be unblocked, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Yi Tianlei said excitedly. After this meridian is unblocked, I believe that Uncle Yi will be able to reach the Xiantian realm in 10 days. Normally, Yi Tianlei was very calm and collected, with the demeanor of a great master. But today, he was like an excited child, his mood fluctuating. Do you need any equipment or medicine? I'll immediately call people to prepare it. No need. Ah, then what do you want to do? I will use my martial arts to directly unblock your meridians. The three people looked at each other as if they were listening to a heavenly book. Yi Dingdang could no longer endure and angrily said, Tang Zheng, you still say you're not bragging? You're going to use your martial arts to unblock my father's meridians? How much martial arts do you have? How could you possibly do it? Yi Tianlei and Feng Ximiang also had the same worry. They originally thought that he had some amazing medical skills, but it turned out to be this method. If he could really use his martial arts to unblock the meridians, they would have already found a way. Why would they wait until now? Moreover, Tang Zheng's cultivation was too low, so they couldn't help but be suspicious. This group of people really don't know what's good for them. Brat, we won't save them anymore. How many people used to beg me to save them? Now there are actually people who doubt me. I'm so angry. Tian Chanzi said indignantly. Tang Zheng, on the other hand, was very understanding of the other party's worries. He calmly said, Uncle Yi, if you believe me, then we can start later. If you don't believe me, then forget about this matter. Yi Tianlei pondered for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, I believe you. Just do as you say. It doesn't matter whether you succeed or not. Don't feel pressured. Tang Jing smiled bitterly. The other party still did not have absolute confidence. Yi Dingdong's almond eyes widened as she stared at Tang Zheng and said, Tang Zheng, this is a serious matter. If anything happens to my father, I won't let you off. If others were to use their internal energy to treat injuries, the slightest mistake could cause damage to their meridians. The risk was not small. Feng Xinyang tugged at Yi Dingdang and said, Dingdang, since your father believes in him, then we should also believe in him. Moreover, I feel that he will create a miracle. Why do you two believe in him so much? This is completely unlike you. Moreover, I sit with him every day and I don't think he knows how to treat illnesses and save people. Yi Dingdang said angrily. Tang Zheng did not pay attention to Yi Dingdang's doubts. The best way to dispel doubts was to use facts to speak for themselves. Thus, he asked for a quiet room so that he could be alone with Yi Tianlei. In the quiet room, the two people sat cross-legged. Tang Zheng patted Yi Tianlei's back and a blazing hot qi surged out. Yi Tianlei felt himself being wrapped up by a powerful force. His heart was startled. Was this his internal energy? How could a second-grade refining body's internal energy be so vigorous? The qi was like a dragon that drilled into his meridians. It quickly reached the blocked meridians. Pung! The qi fiercely collided with the blocked meridians. Yi Tianlei let out a blood-curdling scream as he felt the sky and earth spin. In a flash, he fainted. Little brat, if you reach the third-grade refining body and can practice magic, then you won't need to use such a barbaric method to treat others. Right now, we have no choice but to do so. He will have to suffer a bit. Tian Chanzi said. Don't just watch. Hurry up and help. Tang Zheng urged. What's there to be busy with? Actually, what they said was right. Just using internal energy is not enough to unblock the meridians. It must be combined with spiritual energy. I will now use my spiritual energy to help you. His meridians will be unblocked in a moment. As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Zheng felt that Yi Tianlei's meridians had a mysterious power. Presumably, it was the so-called spiritual energy. The qi suddenly became active. It was as if it was crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Just now, the violent collision of the qi had only caused a crack to appear in the blocked meridians. This time, it directly drilled a hole. Afterwards, the hole rapidly expanded. After half an hour, the blocked meridians were completely unblocked. Fu Tang Zheng let out a long breath. He felt extremely tired. His whole body was already soaked, as if he had just been fished out of the water. Little brat, this time I used up a lot of spiritual energy. I want to rest, so don't disturb me. Tian Chanzi said in a tired voice. Afterwards, there was no more movement. Yi Tianlei slowly opened his eyes and could not help but exclaim, It's unblocked, my meridians are unblocked. Suddenly, he turned around and found Tang Zheng's tired face. He could not help but feel infinite gratitude. Tang Zheng, you really did it. Thank you. Tang Zheng squeezed out a smile and said, You're welcome. Creak. The door opened. Feng Xinyang and Yi Dingdang rushed in together. The two of them had heard Yi Tianlei's screams outside the door and almost rushed in. But in the end, Feng Xinyang restrained herself. At this time, hearing her husband's surprised voice, the two of them could not wait to rush in. Tianlei, your meridians are really unblocked? Even though Feng Xinyang believed in Tang Zheng, she did not expect that the problem that had troubled them for many years would be solved so quickly. Yes, my condition is better than ever before. This is all because of Tang Zheng's help. Yi Tianlei's excitement was beyond words. Yi Dingdang's expression was complicated. She looked at the exhausted Tang Zheng and said, Tang Zheng, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. I apologize to you. Tang Zheng was slightly startled. Seeing Yi Dingdang so serious, he waved his hand and said, You don't have to be so polite. If I were you, I would also have doubted it. Yi Dingdang's heart relaxed. He was unexpectedly so magnanimous. She was the one who was really narrow-minded. She could not help but feel ashamed. Little handsome brother, you're completely soaked. Dingdang, take him to bathe. Feng Xinyang said with concern. The two of them walked out of the room and arrived at the lavishly decorated bathroom. Tang Zheng looked around. This was even bigger than his home. Rich people really knew how to enjoy life. Hurry up and take off your clothes. I'll wash them for you. You can wear them in a bit. Oh, then you're not going out? Of course I'm going out. Yi Dingdang's face turned red. She quickly retreated and closed the door. Take them off and hand them over. Do you hear me? I hear you. Tang Zheng quickly took off his clothes. He opened a crack in the door and handed them over. Take your time to wash. It might take a while. No problem. Yi Dingdang lifted the clothes. A smell of sweat hit her face. She could not help but wrinkle her brows and muttered, It's all stinky sweat. When they walked to the bathroom, a servant quickly welcomed them and was about to take the clothes. Yi Dingdang's heart moved and said, I just wronged him. He was not angry and even helped father unblock his meridians. This time I'm giving him clothes as compensation. I'll do it myself. She began to wash the clothes herself under the servant's astonished gaze. She had been a noble since she was young and this was her first time washing clothes. She originally thought that it would be a very simple matter but she had no clue. After fiddling with the clothes for a while, she still did not know how to wash them. She could not help but feel angry and anxious. Miss, let me do it. The servant could not bear to watch any longer and said with heartache. At the same time, she was curious. Just whose clothes were these that the young miss had to personally wash them? This person's face was too big. No, you teach me. I'll wash them myself. Yi Dingdang pouted. She was incomparably stubborn. She said in her heart that since she decided to wash his clothes, then she would do it to the end. How could she give up halfway? The servant had no choice but to teach her bit by bit. She clumsily washed for a long time and finally gradually became proficient. Suddenly, a pair of underwear came into her eyes. Her face was as red as a ripe apple. Don't tell me I have to wash his underwear? Any girl helping a boy wash his underwear was an embarrassing matter. Yi Dingdang was no exception. Miss, let me wash it. The servant saw her awkwardness and quickly said. Don't move. I'll do it myself. Yi Dingdang clenched her teeth. Wasn't it just a pair of underwear? It wasn't a poisonous snake or a fierce beast. What was there to be afraid of? She pretended to be indifferent as she grabbed the underwear and rubbed it. But her heart was not as calm as she looked on the surface. This was Tang Zheng's most intimate clothing and it tightly wrapped around his most private parts. It was as if her hand was indirectly touching Tang Zheng's body through the underwear. Bastard, she actually washed your underwear. Yi Dingdang, you reap what you sow. What kind of good intentions are you pretending to have? Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang sat facing each other. Their faces were still filled with excitement. Feng Xinyang sighed and said, Tianlei, Tang Zheng really is a miracle worker. He was able to use the pressure point technique when he was in the body refinement realm. Now he has cured your chronic illness. What other miracles do you think he will create? Yi Tianlei shook his head and said, I also don't know. He really is a mystery. No one can see through him. His martial arts are also very complete. I don't know what kind of martial arts it is. Since he doesn't want to say more, we won't ask. Wait until you break through to the Xiantian realm. Then you can return to the Ye family in the capital. Humph, of course I will go back and take back what belongs to me. We have been holed up in ordinary balance all these years. I originally thought that there was no hope in this life. I never thought that Tang Zheng would give me hope. Yi Tianlei became excited again. Then how should we thank him? Giving him money is too vulgar. He will not lack money in the future. Yi Tianlei was also worried. What do you think about him being together with our Ding Dang? Yi Tianlei was suddenly startled and said, what you said that day was true. You really plan on matchmaking the two of them? Is there anything wrong with that? This child is a hidden dragon in the abyss. There will be a day when he will soar through the 9 heavens. Our Ding Dang will definitely not suffer if she follows him. But it's not like you don't know Ding Dang's personality. Moreover, this is a matter of marriage. How can we just make the decision? You still don't know Ding Dang's personality. Look at her and Tang Zheng's cold appearance. There are even some conflicts. However, that is because Tang Zheng has already attracted her attention. I think there is hope. Let nature take its course. You don't have to interfere. Yi Tianlei pondered for a moment before warning. Chapter 38. Tang Zheng put on his clothes and walked out. Seeing Yi Dingdang's slightly red face, he felt a little strange and asked, what's wrong with you? Why is your face so red? It's nothing. Yi Dingdang panicked and tried to cover it up. She would not tell him that she personally washed his clothes and underwear. It was simply too embarrassing. Just then, Yi Tianlei and Feng Ximiang walked over. Looking at her daughter's red face, Feng Ximiang looked thoughtful. Tang Zheng, have you rested well? Well, it's getting late. I have to go home. Tang Zheng, this time you helped me so much. I still don't know how to thank you. Yi Tianlei said sincerely. Uncle Yi, you don't have to be so polite. It's just a small matter. Yi Tianlei nodded and sighed in his heart. At such a young age, he had such calmness and did not ask for anything in return. It really made people have a whole new level of respect for him. Tang Zheng, if you have any requests in the future, just let me know. My Ye family owes you too much. Even if it's a mountain of swords or a sea of fire, I will not shirk my duty. Yi Dingdang glared at Tang Zheng hatefully. She said in her heart that she had already washed his underwear for him. Wasn't that enough? Uncle Yi is too serious. Little handsome brother, let's go. I'll send you back. The more Feng Ximiang looked at Tang Zheng, the more she liked him. Such a little handsome brother as her son-in-law was simply picking up a treasure. Tang Zheng sat in Feng Ximiang's car. Along the way, Feng Ximiang was very enthusiastic, intentionally or unintentionally talking about Yi Dingdang's advantages. Tang Zheng was incomparably embarrassed. Even a fool could understand what she meant. Finally, when he was about to get off the car, Feng Ximiang chased after him and asked if he would reconsider Yi Dingdang. Tang Zheng fled. He really could not stand her enthusiasm. Tian Chanzi said that at worst, he could also accept Yi Dingdang. This way, he could better harmonize his Xinqi. Although Tang Zheng occasionally fantasized about having a woman in his left and right arms, but that was only fantasizing. If he had to put it into practice, as an 18-year-old shy youth, he would not be able to have a clear conscience like a veteran. After Tang Zheng entered a meditative state, he recalled the gains from today's battle. Even though he did not fight to the death in this battle, he was able to fully utilize all of his strength, and his innate qi had increased a little. However, There was still a huge gap between the 3 inches mark, and even if he fought with Yi Tianlei again, he would not gain much from it. This kind of gain was more from the comprehension of the first battle. Don't tell me. I really have to agree to fight with Huang Xiang's boxer? What are you afraid of? For grandfather, I don't care even if I have to risk my life. Let's fight. Huang Xiang sat in the villa and looked at Xiao Fei, who was pretending to be deep in thought. He shook the wine glass in his hand and said, Xiao Fei, you haven't come to your brother's place for a while. How's your 3rd year of high school? Thank you, Brother Yang, for your concern. My 3rd year of high school is not bad. The main reason is that I've been too busy lately, so I haven't had time to come here. Hee, for you to think of Brother Yang is enough. I know that you don't come here without a reason. Speak, what is it? Xiao Fei smiled and said, I can't hide anything from Brother Yang. I have a favor to ask of you. Help me get rid of a person? Oh, someone in school provoked you? Huang Xiang curiously asked, but with your methods, you still can't deal with him? Xiao Fei blushed with shame and said, to tell you the truth, I have already thought of a way, but it was to no avail. Huang Xiang's interest was piqued. Even though Xiao Fei was only a high school student, his natural disposition was crafty and sinister. The average high school student was not his opponent. Someone that even he felt was difficult to deal with was quite rare. Who is it? Tang Zheng, a classmate of mine. But I heard that he is a martial artist. Brother Yang has many experts under his command, otherwise I would not bother Brother Yang. Martial artist? Huang Xiang's eyebrows twitched. Interesting. Which family's young master is he? No, he is a poor bastard. Poor bastard? Huang Xiang found it hard to believe. The poor studied while the rich fought. For a poor person to become a martial artist was too difficult unless they had a great opportunity. Right, he is a poor bastard. There is no doubt about this. He is an orphan and relied on his grandfather to pick up garbage to raise him. His grades were good, but now he has become a waste. He is the last in school. Interesting. I want to meet him. He was very curious as to how a poor person could become a martial artist. Xiao Fei's heart was bursting with joy. It seems that this was the right step. He quickly took out a picture and said, Brother Yang, this person is called Tang Zheng. I hope that he will disappear from this world. Huang Xiang's gaze fell on the picture and could not help but cry out in alarm. How could it be him? Are you sure you didn't make a mistake? Xiao Fei's stomach was full of doubts as he nodded and said, That's right. Brother Yang, what happened to you? Huang Xiang's too thick eyebrows creased. During this time he had been investigating Tang Zheng but did not find much. After all, Tang Zheng was not a person of the underworld but a student. Huang Xiang's investigation direction was wrong, so of course he would return without any results. One can wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it by chance without any effort. Are you sure you want to kill him? Huang Xiang asked in a deep voice. Xiao Fei was scared by his serious expression as he nodded his head in bewilderment. Yes, I am sure. If he did not kill Tang Zheng, then he would never be able to make a name for himself. Moreover, seeing that Fang Shishir was about to fall into Tang Zheng's hands, he could not help but feel anxious. Okay, I'll help you. Xiao Fei was slightly stunned as he did not think that Huang Xiang would agree so easily. He originally thought that Huang Xiang would raise some conditions, but this was also good as Xiao Fei would save himself some trouble. He could not help but sneer in his heart, Tang Zheng, with Brother Yang's help you are dead. Huang Xiang looked at Xiao Fei with a smile that was not a smile. His mind was filled with thoughts as he was not so kind as to do a good deed for no reason. He had his own plans. Tang Zheng was so young and already had a body full of skills. Moreover, he also knew the pressure point technique, which made him very interested. He had been wandering around the 6th grade refining body for a long time and was unable to break through until Tang Zheng's appearance gave him hope. He wanted to heavily injure Tang Zheng and then force him to reveal his cultivation technique. Then he would be able to help him increase his own cultivation. Moreover, the appearance of such a young expert in ordinary Balan City was not good for him, so he had to eliminate him as soon as possible. He had already had the intention to kill, and Xiao Fei just happened to be here. Ding ling ling. The phone rang and Huang Xiang picked it up. After listening for a while, his mouth gradually formed a cold smile. Seeing this, Xiao Fei's heart turned cold. Tomorrow will be the day of Tang Zheng's death. Huang Xiang said with a smile that was not a smile. Xiao Fei was overjoyed. Thank you, Brother Yang. I will engrave this kindness in my heart and will never forget it. Huang Xiang laughed out loud. So this phone call was from Lin Hu. He told him that Tang Zheng wanted to arrange a fight tomorrow. Huang Xiang was originally thinking of a way to deal with Tang Zheng, but now he had a legitimate reason to do so. He was prepared to directly make his move during the fight so that no one would be able to say anything. Early in the morning, Tang Zheng looked at the weeping Fang Shishir. His heart ached as he wiped away her tears and asked, "What happened to you?" Fang Shishir's eyes were red as she looked at him and said, "Tang Zheng, did my mother look for you yesterday?" "Yes." She must have said some very unpleasant words. Tang Zheng secretly sighed as he said in his heart that she really understood her. It doesn't matter. It's all in the past. I also did not think that she would do such a thing. It was too much. Afterwards she even told me not to see you again and to break up with you. Silly girl, this is between the two of us. As long as the two of us have confidence, no one can separate us. Tang Zheng firmly said as he held her hand. But my mother, don't worry. Let her say a few words. I won't lose a piece of meat. Moreover, I kidnapped her daughter, so letting her scold me a few words is not a big deal. Fang Shishir's tears turned into laughter. She snorted and said, "Who was kidnapped by you? You make it sound so unpleasant." "Huh, didn't I kidnap you? I did it willingly, okay? Okay, you were willing. Okay, don't worry. I will take care of this matter." Tang Zheng rubbed her head and comforted her. He did not think that this would be too difficult. Just like he said, as long as the two of them are determined to be together, no one can stop them. Sure, I have some matters to attend to these few days. I will be very busy, so I won't have time to study with you. It doesn't matter. You have already recovered, so I have confidence in you. But you must remember to think of me. Fang Shishir playfully said. I will definitely think of you. I will always think of you. Fang Shishir's smile was like a flower, as if she had eaten honey. Tang Zheng spent the entire day adjusting his state in order to prepare for the fight at night. Last time he faced a 4th grade refining body opponent, and this time he did not know what level of opponent he would face. He had no choice but to be careful. Yi Dingdang occasionally turned her head to look at him. She secretly thought that he was constantly cultivating in class. He really grasped every minute and every second. No wonder his strength increased so quickly. Then I will also work hard like him. But after trying a few times, she gave up. She had no way of calming her heart in such a noisy environment. Cultivating required silence, because if one was disturbed by the outside environment, the slightest bit of carelessness would cause one to go berserk. But Tang Zheng did not seem to be affected by this. Under any conditions he could calm his heart and cultivate. This was where he was different from ordinary people. Truly a freak. Yi Dingdang was helpless as she angrily muttered. Tang Zheng cultivated with his eyes closed. Even though he was sitting in a corner, he was the complete opposite of the others. It was hard not to attract attention. Lu Qingmei glanced at him from time to time and found that his eyes were still closed, as if he was asleep. She couldn't help but frown and was a little angry. Him giving up on himself and not learning is really disappointing. Chapter 39. Tang Zheng, how can you sleep in class? Lu Qingmei unhappily asked. Teacher, I didn't. You already closed your eyes and you're still saying you didn't. Lu Qingmei disappointedly said. Tang Zheng blushed with shame as he couldn't tell her that he was training right. Tang Zheng, I know that a lot of things have happened to you, but you can't give up on yourself. You see that everyone's learning spirit is so high, so you also have to work hard, do you understand? Lu Qingmei said earnestly. I understand, teacher, I will definitely work hard in the future. Tang Zheng helplessly said. Lu Qingmei left satisfied. Yi Dingdang gloatingly glanced at him and said, Who told you to train in class? Now you've been caught. Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he picked up his bag and left the school. Xingshi Bar, Lin Hu pulled Tang Zheng and sincerely said, Little brother, tonight's fight is no small matter, are you confident? If you aren't, then we won't fight. If you're short on money, then you can take it from me. Tang Zheng had already earned 250,000 yuan from the 2 matches, and with the 200,000 yuan from the Ye family, he wasn't short on money. Brother Hu, thank you for your good intentions, but I'm not only doing this for money, I also want to comprehend some things from actual combat. Female sign, Lin Hu shook his head and said, But this is too dangerous. No one can be undefeated forever. The boxing world has its risks, and if you lose, then you may be crippled or even lose your life. Tang Zheng was silent for a moment before firmly saying, I know, but I still want to fight. Okay, then I can only cheer you on. I heard that this time young Master Huang will send out his #1 fighter, Tai Long. Yes, he is a 5th grade refining body expert and his golden bell cover is very good. It is said that his body is like steel and it is very difficult to injure him. Tang Zheng was silent. Back then, when he faced a 6th grade refining body assassin, he did not die. Now that he had broken through to the 2nd grade refining body, even if he were to face this Tai Long, he may not necessarily lose. In a factory in the suburbs, hundreds of spectators had gathered today. Everyone had heard that a young expert had recently appeared, and this battle would be very exciting. When Tang Zheng appeared, the crowd immediately cheered like a tidal wave. Tang Zheng was young and had delicate features. He was not like the other boxers who were tall and burly. He was very likable, especially the female spectators. They were extremely infatuated and wanted to recommend themselves to him. Tang Zheng turned a deaf ear to the cheers. He had been adjusting his aura to reach the most perfect state. Little brother, you've come. I thought you wouldn't be participating in the competition in the near future. Young people are really courageous. Huang Xiang smiled and pretended to be friendly. The previous opponents you faced were too weak, so you definitely didn't have enough fun. Today, I've arranged a strong opponent for you. This time, you'll definitely be able to enjoy yourself to the fullest. Thank you. Tang Zheng lightly nodded his head. Little brat, you're too arrogant. This time, your opponent is Tai Long. He has participated in more than 10 matches and has not tasted a single defeat. Little brat, you won't be able to escape this calamity. Boss Fan disdainfully said. Boss Fan, if you don't speak, no one will think you're mute. Lin, whose eyebrows jumped and unhappily said, Tai Long is indeed very powerful, but my brother is also not to be trifled with. Of course, little brother's skill is not ordinary. Tai Long may not be your opponent. Huang Xiang carelessly said, Tai Long, later on, you must be alert. Little brother is an expert, so you must not be careless. A person walked out from behind Huang Xiang. He was not tall, but he was very lean. His muscles were very sturdy, and his eyes were bright and full of expression. Rest assured, young Master Huang, I will definitely do my best. Tai Long swept a glance at Tang Zheng. It was as if a biting cold wind blew past, causing people's heart to feel cold. Such a strong aura, he really is an expert. Good, let's first enjoy their wonderful match. The two people walked onto the arena. The crowd's cheers became even louder, as if they wanted to lift the roof. Especially those who had seen Tai Long's match, they all loudly shouted Tai Long's name, Tai Long, victory. Tai Long's face was expressionless. He coldly smiled at Tang Zheng and said, Little brat, later on you better hold on a bit longer. Otherwise, if I defeat you, then you won't be able to feel the joy of victory. Tang Jing maintained his composure and said, if you want to defeat me, then you must have real skill. Although I can't see through your cultivation, I dare to bet that with your small body, you are not my opponent. Many people have died in my hands, so don't be scared to the point of peeing your pants. Little brat, this Tai Long has really killed people. The smell of blood on his body is not small. Tian Chanzi reminded. He actually did not approve of this kind of risk, but in order to save his grandfather, Tang Jing did not listen to his dissuasion. He also had no other choice. Tang Jing remembered this in his heart and raised his attention to 120%. Both sides stood still. As the referee announced the start of the match, the atmosphere instantly changed. Tai Long took the initiative to attack. His figure flashed, and in the blink of an eye, he had already closed the distance of several meters. Tang Jing's face was calm, and his attack was like a storm. Bang! Tang Jing dodged the attack and threw out a punch. Bang! His punch solidly landed on his opponent's body. However, it was as if his punch had landed on a steel plate, causing a piercing pain to his bones. Tai Long, on the other hand, acted as if nothing had happened. He even grinned coldly. Tang Jing felt his shoulder tighten. He was actually caught by Tai Long whoosh. Tang Jing flew out and landed in the distance. He was battered and exhausted, and almost fell out of the arena. In this first confrontation, Tang Jing was obviously at a disadvantage. Hey, little brat, now you know how powerful I am. You want to break my golden bell cover with your little tricks? Wishful thinking. Tai Long proudly said. He had already received Huang Xiang's order to severely injure Tang Jing. However, he had to leave his last breath and make the match more exciting. Therefore, he did not want to completely defeat Tang Jing from the beginning. He wanted to play with him step by step, and then use his killing move. Tang Jing clenched his teeth. He did not say a word, but his heart gradually sank. If he could not break his opponent's golden bell cover, then he would be in too much danger. I don't believe that he is really an impenetrable defense. Tang Jing's toes touched the ground, and like a gust of wind, he arrived in front of Tai Long. He continuously attacked with 6 moves of the heaven-gathering hand. The sky was filled with palm shadows, and they all landed on Tai Long's body. Tai Long's eyebrows did not even blink. Instead, he looked at him with a mocking expression. Bang bang bang, 6 muffled sounds rang out. Tai Long did not move at all. Tang Jing flew back and looked at him with indescribable horror. Does he really not have any flaws? A person without flaws, even if he was not an expert, wanting to defeat him was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Not to mention that there was a huge difference in their cultivation. Little brat, the golden bell cover is just an ordinary martial art. With his cultivation, he wants to practice it to the level of invulnerability. It is simply wishful thinking. This is just him blowing his own trumpet. The golden bell cover has a death acupuncture point in his dantian. Even if he has trained his muscles and bones in other places, he definitely has not trained this death acupuncture point. As long as you attack his dantian, he will definitely lose. Tian Chanzi said. Tang Jing was overjoyed. Although Tian Chanzi could not help much, but his knowledge was not bad. Good, then I will attack his death acupuncture point. As long as I use the pressure point technique to suppress him, then attacking the death acupuncture point will be easy. Whoosh with both fists, Tang Jing attacked again. Tai Long was no longer passively taking a beating. Instead, he quickly met him and roared, "Fall for me." A punch came. The air produced a muffled sound. Tang Jing felt that his breathing was not smooth. Pung! As the 2 fists collided, Tang Jing hurriedly retreated backwards. His feet tapped against the ground, stopping his body. At this time, Tai Long once again attacked like a maggot. Tang Jing's pupils constricted. How could he let go of this rare opportunity? His finger quickly sealed the opponent's pressure point, causing Tai Long's body to stiffen. Tang Zheng was overjoyed. The pressure point technique was successful. He once again punched out, aiming directly at Tai Long's dantian. Tai Long's pupils instantly enlarged. He roared, "You are courting death." Pa! Tai Long's muscles and bones suddenly made an explosive sound. His lean body swelled up, turning into a big fat man. Tai Long also instantly regained his mobility. He actually forcibly opened his acupuncture point. This unforeseen event was completely out of Tang Zheng's expectations, and it was already impossible for him to withdraw his attack. Pung! Tai Long swept his hand and directly blocked Tang Zheng's attack. His other fist landed on Tang Zheng's chest. Puff! Tang Zheng flew backwards as if he was hit by a car. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fiercely fell to the ground. Little brother. Lin Hu was shocked. He could not help but exclaim. But there was nothing he could do. Little handsome brother, quickly get up. Defeat him, defeat him. The audience burst into loud cheers. Tai Long, kill him, kill him. The other audience also did not want to fall behind and cheered. The entire factory was in an uproar. This battle was even more exciting than the previous ones. The confrontation between the two experts made everyone nervous and addicted to watching. Especially the dazzling attacks, it made everyone's breathing quicken uncontrollably. The corner of Huang Xiang's mouth raised high, he smiled complacently, and said to himself, "My guess is correct, his strength is indeed not too high, but he has a way to hide his cultivation. I must dig out the secrets on his body, this way my cultivation can break through." Boss Fan was overjoyed. He even mocked Lin Hu. "Lin Hu, weren't you very confident in this little brat? Look at his appearance. After eating Tai Long's fist, I don't think he will be able to crawl up. Hey, he is dead for sure." Lin Hu's complexion was uncertain. He fiercely stared at Boss Fan and said, "Don't take joy in others' misfortune. The fight is not over yet." Humph, what is there to fight about? Victory and defeat have already been decided. Tai Long will win for sure. Your little brat is dead for sure. Many people had this thought. Even Tai Long was no exception. If an ordinary person had eaten his fist, their internal organs would have been shattered. How could they still have a chance to live? But when Tai Long attacked his dantian, his body was drenched in cold sweat. His dantian was his Achilles heel. If he was hit by Tai Long, even if he did not die, he would be seriously injured. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.